looking at you all the time goes by. Do you mind if I stay by your side? Just looking at you all the time goes by.
All right, guys, welcome to the program. Welcome to the show. I'm starting the live stream early today. Let's get the real intro going as we get a few punters coming in. Let's talk some watches, guys. You know, that theme never gets old. When I came back to the Archieverse a couple years ago, Archie was running the slow tempo, like bullshit, like intro, and I remember telling him like, why don't you just run that like the cool intro with the tuxedo and the boats and stuff? And he re-uploaded it into Brands. So definitely, it's been a staple of ours for a couple of years now. But yeah, always an intro that we like to play here on the Archie Luxury live stream. Yeah, I wanted to talk some watches. I had some time to kill. Archie's going to be here in about an hour, so we can just hang out with the gang, talk watches, see what you guys are up to. I got a couple of topics. Archie actually has a new video. So if you haven't seen it, we can probably watch a bit of it together. We'll see how it goes. We'll talk to the chat, see what you guys want to talk about. First out the gates, we got Rich Mitch in the UK saying hello. Nice to see Rich Mitch. We got Canadian Jimmy who says these screen caps are brilliant. Mean, nasty, vicious tire kickers. Yes, Archie's apparently he says he's pulled the ads for the JLC. And I mean, I don't know if he's pulled the ads from Gumtree only or if he's pulled the Facebook ad because Jimmy, I think a lot of the tire kickers are actually coming from Facebook. So maybe he's pulled both ads. If you guys have access to whatever, I think I have the Gumtree ad somewhere, so I can see if it's still up or not. But I'll do that at a bit of a later time while I say hello to everybody else. We got Acquired Taste in the chat who says he'll give you juice and shower for a JLC and potentially for a wrench. We got Mr. Wilkinson, AC3 just after evacuating his bowels. Yes, very good observation. Darth Negus in the chat. I'm going to find the listing for this JLC and Raz the Fiker. Yeah, you know what? I don't know if I still have it or not. Let me see if I can find the the actual ad because I did have it on I mean I found it. It wasn't really that difficult to find on Gumtree. So it was pretty well, yeah, it was pretty easy to find. I just don't know. Like he said, "Oh, I'm gonna take them down." So look, let me give me a second here. I'm gonna see if I can find find the specific ad, and I'm just logging into my WhatsApp because I know that I had sent it on WhatsApp to. I sent it to a couple of people when I first saw the ad. So let me see if I can find it here as my WhatsApp loads up, and I get into the right chat that I posted it in because yeah, it's always an interesting topic with the with the pontiff. Like definitely not Craigslist, but really the Craigslist equivalent, Darth Negus, is Gumtree, right? So when you're thinking of the Craigslist equivalent, like Archie is, he's just buying like, he's buying a bunch of like just or he's posting it in a bunch of like random spots, and it's just what do you expect, right? Like of course um you're gonna expect some bullshit. Okay. All right. So Archie has pulled it down. All right. So I did find it. I'm gonna share. I'm gonna share the ad here, because look, like it's no longer live. There's no live ads under his Gumtree account. But I did call him out for this because he marked this as sold. This IKEA glass door cabinet Fabrico or whatever. But you clearly see this cabinet in his video. So yeah, it's definitely one that could be a problem. So let me know if there's any audio issues, guys. Just give me an audio check. Let me know if the audio is coming through or if I need to log back in because have been having some audio problems. But just let me know, guys. Audio check in the chat, and then we'll go from there. But yeah, look, it does seem like Archie has taken down his JLC ad, and yeah, it's just not looking it's not looking very pretty for Archie Luxury. He's been okay. So Bugsy Malone saying audio's fine. Thanks so much, Bugsy. Appreciate that. Yeah, so seems like the JLC ad's been taken down. Archie's been. We're gonna hear from him in about like I don't know, about an hour around all the tire kickers and all the bullshit come from the tire kickers. But yeah, it is definitely going to be a fun topic for the day. We got one you see it in the chat. Nice to see you. One you see it. We got David N who says a nice 5396. Yeah, I believe this is the same one OC has. OC is in the chat who's saying nice 5396 indeed. Thank you, OC. Mikey Casio GTR, nice earlier starts. Thought Pontiff had shit in the bed. Yeah, you know what? I've been talking to Bear and just around like kind of like, you know, when I was in London, just timing was just shit. You know, to watch these shows, it's like, you know, it's pretty much like midnight when Archie starts. So I was like, you know what? I'm sitting here. I want to talk some watches, so I'll hop on the stream and just get it started. It's all good. You know, people don't need a super chat. It's all good. But we do have a massive super chat coming in here from JDMTL, 70 Canadian dollars. Thank you so much, JDMTL. 10 here, man. The Beaver, Canadian flag. Thank you so much, JDMTL, for everything, for all the support. Always. I know JDMTL likes his drama, and we like to, you know, look, it's the Archie Luxury channel, right? We do the watch talk, we do the comedy, and we do the drama. It didn't really have a major drama topic, JDMTL, or else I'd be on the dungeon. Was really just going to kind of, Archie released a new video, was going to kind of talk about that. And then I can talk to you guys a little bit about some of the new panelists that we've been talking to. We had, I think, the other day, Watch Chat from Malaysia. I'll pull up his YouTube channel. Really cool guy from Malaysia. I think he was a trial lawyer. Archie was really infatuated with what that guy did for work. But yeah, Watch Chat. I'll show you guys his YouTube page here in a second. We'll pull it up. Share this tab. So we got Watch Chat, who's got. So if you guys don't know, Watch Chat 888 on YouTube. He's got about 3.76 thousand subs. Mostly does watch talk. You know, watch topics and whatnot. Doesn't seem like he does any live streams. And for those that don't know, he actually has never shown his face on and he's on 100. He's almost on 200 videos. Has never shown his face on any of the streams, and actually did his reveal on Archie's stream a few days ago. So really cool new panelist on the show. Obviously, you guys have seen Jay Anthony, great guy. He's been around for years, really helping out the Pontiff a lot. We had a guy named Killing Time with Norman as well. He's probably going to come back in a couple of weeks. He's just doing some traveling. So we do have a lot of new panelists coming into the mix. Archie had almost a full panel yesterday, 8 people on the show. Super cool to see Hoff and you know, Mike the Snake and Jay Anthony and everybody you know, stepping up, helping the Pontiff. Narc himself obviously helping as well. Yeah, JDMTL, lots of you know, just I go with the flow, right? Like if there's drama to be had, there's drama to be talked about. Happy to you know, happy to talk about it. But yeah, if not, we can definitely just kind of continue. But yeah, definitely wanted to, you know, showcase Watch Chat, super cool guy who came on the show earlier this week. So getting to kind of one of the topics at hand. So Archie has a new video here called "Is Watch Investing Dead?" Rolex is, you know, safe at buying at retail. So not, I mean, is this really an original topic? Like, I think, I'm pretty sure this was one of our live stream topics. So I haven't actually seen this video. I'll play a little bit for you guys because I don't know if anybody's seen this, but I'm curious to hear what the Pontiff has to say about this and do a bit of a live critique because this video is only about I don't know, like an hour old. And yeah, let's kind of hear it for the first time. Let me know if there's no audio in the chat. If not, I will then run through and make sure that we are clipping like curly wood. We are in uncertain time, guys. Does this sound like original content? Does this sound like something that Archie is, you know, I mean, it's okay, so no sound. No sound on audio, no sound. Okay, so I don't know why this is not. This has been kind of fucked up for me. So if someone hops on the panel, I'll be able to hop off and then I'll be able to play it. But anyways, I'll kind of like give you guys a bit of a paraphrase on this as I move on to some watch stuff. But Archie essentially is, as far as I can see, is getting like really deep into like recycling like the same shit that he's literally talked about in his last video. Like he had said, hey, look, I'm going to be doing a video a week, and if we kind of look at his channel on Archie Luxury, it's he says I'm gonna be doing a video a week, and so I was like, all right, I was excited for that, and I think a lot of people were excited for it because a lot of people saw the he did a video, I think it was this one 2 weeks ago, so 18,000 views, a lot of comments on this video around like Archie coming back, and a lot of people were happy that Archie was doing content around it, and then just like kind of stopped. He did a bunch of this like travel shit that like honestly nobody, like 500 views, like you know obviously this Sirocco one had decent views and everything else in my perfect three piece, but he hasn't really done a video in in a while. I'd say 2 weeks. So pretty cool. Check it out. 38 minutes on this show, or on this video. Unfortunately, it's not working for me in my audio, so it's all good. But I do have other topics. Talk through some watches here. Checking out monochrome, and I kind of asked Archie the other day to look at stuff that excited him. There hasn't been a lot, I would say, on the scene, at least on the last couple of weeks. That's been super interesting. I really like the Shiken ultra thin, or what they call the Thin King. I thought that was cool. I actually asked Mr. GMT about this one yesterday. So GMT, if you're listening, this was the Tag Heuer Monaco Titanium Caliber 11, which was super cool. And yeah, it was just, I really wanted to get GMT's take on it because GMT has always been a big Tag Heuer fan. When I think of Tag Heuer, I don't really think of guys like Archie. I really think of GMT because I don't know what it is. I don't see him spruiking it that often, but really, this watch, the Monaco, never fit good on my wrist. I don't know why. It's just like that one watch that I want to love, but like I just can't. So I kind of live vicariously through our good friend GMT, who has one of these and really does love it. So I asked him what he thought. Obviously titanium would be a lot lighter on the wrist. I think that would probably fare well with a square watch, a bit of a unusual shape to wear on the wrist. I would like it to be. I would like it to be light. There you go, GMT. I'm happy you're listening, brother. Because I asked you this question yesterday on Perth Luxury. I'm like, hey, what do you think? And Perth wasn't able to really figure it out. But for me, GMT, this is like, I like the colors. Big Tony's liking the colorway. I like the colorway. But yeah, like titanium, I think GMT I've tried these watches on, and they're not chunky by any means. They're not like heavy by any means, but I think that definitely a titanium piece would be pretty decent, man. I actually like the colorway yellow green. I think it's really nice. So yeah, really, caliber 11 classic. Classic Tag Heuer. Obviously Heuer Monaco, as you can see here, they're not putting the tag moniker on their pieces. But yeah, look, really, really cool. Seems to be limited edition of 1 of 1,000, which is really great. And let's get on to the price. It's expensive, 9,100 Swiss francs, guys. Not cheap, but look, if I'm still looking, GMT, for kind of I'm looking for the Monaco for me, and honestly, like I haven't found it. I haven't really, like Mikey's saying, it's kind of blocky in the aesthetics, and it's not for everybody. It's a watch that's not for everybody. It's a watch that I really have wanted to love, and I've just struggled to. It just doesn't look good on my wrist, which is completely opposite with like the Reverso, which is not a square watch but a rectangular watch. But the Reverso, like, it just works amazing on my wrist. But like the Monaco, man, I've never been able to figure it out. I'm looking for the right Monaco. So this one really piqued my interest yesterday, GMT, when I was scrolling through monochrome, just on like, hey, what's cool and what's not. This Chopik came up. I didn't really have a lot of people that reviewed it. Sincere, I believe, is a dealer. I've seen other Sincere editions. So this is a Chopik Antarctique S mirrored Sincere Platinum Jubilee edition. So it's a two-tone steel and gold model with mirrored silicon dial for the 70th anniversary of Sincere Fine Watches. So as I mentioned, Sincere is some kind of a watch authorized dealer. Have seen other, like Sincere has done Patek releases. So not really, this isn't like a unique thing that Sincere is doing, but it's just for the, for the Chopik Antarctique. So Not the biggest fan of two-tone watches myself. There's certain two-tone watches that I do dig, but honestly, like not the biggest fan of two-tone. Uh, this one kind of works. It kind of works. Is it the ideal Chopic that I would buy? Probably not. A guy like George Varghese, I know, who likes his Chopics. I can't see a guy like him buying this. But look, like I think Chopic would have a good market with this as the Antarctique gets established. I think the Antarctique is just not established enough for us to be like, going into like two tones and all this other stuff, right? Kind of get the recipe right and then go for it. Like kind of like how they did with the Black Bay or they did it with the Explorer, and you gradually introduce two tone way down the track, right? I think the Antarctique is just not there. Like, does it work? Sure. Is it ideal? No. I don't. I don't really see it. I don't really find it super attractive. I don't find it unattractive, but hey, it's a special edition. It's a commemorative edition, so they can kind of do whatever the fuck they want. So kind of, I don't think it's easy to criticize in the sense because it's not really a production model. It's not really that like this exact watch in this configuration is what they're producing to the public. It's through Sincere, and it's probably going to be a limited edition. Um, We've got Big Tony. I tried on a solid gold root beer yesterday. Nice watch. I love the solid gold root beer. I actually attended the Rolex event at the AD in Toronto, or one of the biggest ADs in Toronto, at Royal de Versailles back in the day when the launch of the root beer happened. And yeah, I actually liked the solid gold root beer more than the two tone. Wasn't I didn't dislike the two tone. I really do like the two tone, but I felt that the solid gold root beer just popped a bit more. It just looked a bit nicer, and yeah, it definitely felt great with full gold, full gold on the wrist, right? So definitely a fan of the solid gold root beer there. And Jimmy says root beer is at an awesome price. So again, Antarctique guys, is this cool watch? Yep. I think it's nice. I just, for me, I don't know. Two tone. I just don't know. This wouldn't really be what I'd be interested in getting. Um, Mirror dial with a touch of platinum is designed to tribute Sincere Watches Platinum Jubilee, developed with collaboration with MD Art. The dial is made from a single wafer of silicon, a material usually found on hairsprings, a thin disc of silicon or crystalline silicon. Like, I mean, again, right? It's like silicon isn't really in high horology. They don't like silicon at all. It's just not considered. It's not considered luxurious, and it's just not very. So silicon dial, not really. Eh. Movement's beautiful. Like the Antarctique has a great movement, great looking movement. I like it. Micro rotor, really, really cool. Just the two tone doesn't do it for me, guys. Mikey Casio GTR. I love two tone. Reminds me of the old '90s and 2000s hip hop bling days. Was when I got into jewelry trade, and these chains and bracelets flew off the trays them days. Yeah, for sure, man. Two tones for there's a lot of people who love two tone. Archie's obviously a big proponent of two tone. He's bluesy, right? Like loves the two. I'd say of all Rolexes, that's the one tune tone I'd probably let it slide. Kind of dislike every other one. Do like the root beer to some extent, but I just go solid gold. For me, it never really fit my fancy. I would say if you were to say like a two tone watch that I do like, I think the Patek 5980 two tone is a beautiful watch. Probably one of the best two tone watches in my opinion in the world. Kudos to a watch. It's Brian the Pipe, who picked up one of these 5980s. Just a beautiful. I'm pull it up on the screen here for you guys. Just a beautiful, just a beautiful two tone watch, right? Like blue dial, two tone rose gold, just amazing. Just to me, this is clearly where Paddock got it right on two tone, and so yeah, like I get it, Mikey Casio on the two tone piece, but for me, like the Chopic Antarctique, I just think it just falls a little short, and I can understand it. I can totally get I can totally get behind the idea of it for the sincere tribute, but not really my biggest I would say my biggest favorite here. I am moving on to a Seiko, guys. Don't kill me. I know that there are a lot of Seiko fans here. I don't just talk about Patek Philippe's. I don't just talk about Vacherons and Rolexes. We like to talk about all kinds of watches. I know it's the Archie Luxury channel, but we'll wait for Archie to kick watches off because they're shitters. Seiko Cocktail Time, new nighttime Tokyo edition dial. I thought this was really cool. I love the Cocktail Time. Mike the Snake actually brought up. I think I asked Mike the Snake if he picked like an ideal Seiko for. I don't know if it was for Archie or for. I think it was for Archie actually, and he picked the Seiko Cocktail Time. And Archie was like, "Yeah, love the Cocktail Time." It's just a different iteration of the Cocktail Time. So this is another look, Presage Cocktail Time, inspired by Japan's capital city's nightlife, with dials designed after specifically created cocktails. This represents the audacious yet accessible side of the collection, which is really cool, right? Like accessibility is still, important to Seiko, and they're still producing great watches, great quality watches, beautiful looking watches, and where I think Seiko and Grand Seiko have really done a good job is on the dials, right? Like when people ask me like which is a watch because you guys all see me ask these questions all the time in all the shows, right? I'm always asking a question. What about this or that? What about this versus that? If someone asks me, Tan, who do you think who do you think is known for dials, or who should be known for dials? In my viewpoint, Seiko's up there. Obviously everyone's familiar with a lot of Seiko dials, Grand Seiko Snowflake, the Peacock, and the White Birch, Black Birch, like so many of them to describe. And obviously not in the Grand Seiko line, but in the Seiko Presage line, this Tokyo Nightlife Edition Cocktail Time, just absolutely beautiful for anybody who enjoys nightlife. This would be definitely you can kind of get the vibe from just looking at the dial here. Like it makes you feel like you're on a night out in the town, or if you're the bright lights of of Tokyo at night and stuff like that. Like really really cool theme, and that really struck me. And it's just funny the way the dial can just have that impact on somebody. Where it's like you're just looking at situations where the dial is just it really makes the watch here. And in the Cocktail Time, I would say that they're known for having very very beautiful looking, just classy dress pieces. I think Mike the Snake called it. I'll pull up another Cocktail Time for you guys just to kind of see. And I'm sure many of you guys are familiar with the Cocktail Time and familiar with what the watch looks like. But for some of us that are not familiar with the Cocktail Time, pull you up a Cocktail Time here, to kind of just see the difference between what we're looking at on the screen and what is what is really kind of what people are used to. So I would say here, this type of Cocktail Time is probably what more people are used to from seeing. But when I look at the Tokyo edition, just next level Cocktail Time to me, just next level, beautiful piece. I think there's a couple of iterations of it. I'll just go through some of these photos here. Um, Blow this up. Interesting dial. Yeah, just Seiko is really really funky with the dials, and I think they've knocked it out of the park. This looks beautiful on the wrist. The dial, the gold with the black, like bracelet looks great. Like I think this is really well done. Yeah, there's nothing I could say that's bad about this piece. Is it a high horology piece? No. Is it a Grand Seiko? No. Is it a fun, really, really good looking piece that you could have a lot of, really, you can get a lot of life out of? Yeah, absolutely. And I just think that this is great. Limited to edition of 9,000 pieces, 560 euros. Not crazy expensive, guys. So definitely, definitely get into it. Dirk Diggler is saying, I love the Cocktail Time. Yeah, man, I think there's a lot of Cocktail Time fans here in the Archieverse. Obviously, Mike the Snake, myself, Perez, I think likes the Cocktail Time. Many others. For me, this was really the standout. Seiko I've seen over the last little bit. Don't really always click on the Seiko stuff here as I'm perusing, but the Seiko stuff really, really hit me there. There was, a couple other pieces that people were interested. Obviously, this new AP unveils Chroma Forge technology, a colored and loomed forged carbon for the Royal Oak chronograph, split seconds. Like, I don't know, man. Like, it's like who buys this shit? Like, honestly, it's like it's hard to when you're in a sea of Royal Oaks these days, guys. It's so hard to just be like, man, can this just not be simple? Like there's so there's like freaking Marvel character Royal Oaks and all this kind of shit that they're putting into it, and it's like I don't know, this brand just needs to like not beat a dead horse because it's just getting boring, and it's to the point where like hot take over here. I think the code 1159 fucking sucks. and I will never be the guy trying to convince other people to buy the fucking Code 1159. There are some Code 1159s that I dig, like, I dig the Aventurine Perpetual Calendar, I dig the Star Wheel, right? But like, when you kind of see people on these streams trying to, like, especially when it's a Code 1159 owner trying to convince somebody else of, like, how great it is, nah, bullshit, it's a fucking shit watch. Like, does it have some cool innovation? Yeah. I really think it was a swing and a miss for AP, and that's their point. That's kind of what they spruik for you to get into shit like this, and it's like, I'll probably just pass. I think this brand is just getting a little boring for me, and yeah, when I see releases like this, it's kind of meh. Like, oh, another Royal Oak, cool, man. Like, cool technology, great. Like, we're so desensitized by Royal Oaks that it's like, it don't matter if you put fucking like adamantium and, like, the Archangel Michael into this watch. Most people won't give a shit because it's another Royal Oak. Like, it's come on, work with me, not against me. We got Big Tony, $5 Australian. Thank you so much, Big Tony. Seiko proves you don't need $1 million to have fun with watches. There's a lot of truth in that, Big Tony. It's a good segue. It's a good segment for me to talk about. Like, watch collecting and in general, and when we look at all this kind of shit, it's a lot of people, when these releases come out, they just get desensitized by it because it's like they will immediately just kind of like glance over, like, new Royal Oak, fucking split second. I'll never be able to afford that in my life, and scroll over it. And the ability, like you said, Big Tony, to have brands, like Seiko or like Tudor that make watches that can be accessible to people at different price points, I think really make it fun for everybody. And I was talking in JJ's WhatsApp group the other day about vintage watches, and Ali Reza was asking a question around, like, hey, can you give me some info on some vintage watch dealers that you guys that are trustworthy and whatnot? And I kind of chimed in, and I was telling everybody in the chat, I was like, in vintage watches, you don't always have to go straight to Rolex. You don't need to go dive into the deep end and buy a double red sea dweller. Like, you can start with other brands and collecting vintage, like I did. I mean, I started collecting vintage Seikos before I dived into collecting vintage Rolex. And when you collect like vintage Seiko, you learn about vintage, you learn about what to look for in vintage. Obviously, vintage Seiko collecting is completely different than vintage Rolex collecting, but there are some similarities that you're going to look for. And I think maybe it's a good segue for me to talk about a little bit of vintage. So I had recommended to Ali to go to a company called Tropical Watch. It's run by a guy named Jacek. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing his name correctly, but he's been around in the vintage game forever. Like, I can remember when I was getting into vintage, he was working at HQ Milton at the time. But what I've learned over time with vintage, and because everyone's like, well, how do I know? How do I trust this guy and everything else? Because everyone, when the second everyone says vintage, you hear the word minefield. Oh, vintage is a minefield, and people don't know where to go, and that just deters everybody. And what I find really sad about that is vintage can be a lot of fun. It doesn't have to be very pricey if you don't want it to be. If you want to play in the Rolex game, yeah, it's going to be pricey. And I'm going to show you guys a couple of tips here in a second. But let me get to the super chat real quick. First, Rich Mitch, 2 British pounds. Thank you so much. Do you like the 80s Cartier Santos? I do, actually. I have one. Rich Mitch, I'm a huge fan of the Cartier Santos. I'm a huge fan of Cartier, the brand. I like a lot of their watches. Not conventional. I own a Cartier Santos large, obviously a modern version, not an 80s version. Look, big or small, I think the Santos is a cool watch. Everyone talks about it being the first sports watch, first pilot's watch, all this jazz, first watch for the wrist watch for a man, whatever. All the kind of first that people could kind of attribute to the Santos Dumont. For me, like, it's just a cool watch. I love the Santos, and I really do love the brand. I'm trying to get Archie to get back into the brand, honestly, Rich Mitch, but it's been a little tough. We got Loose Tooth, who says he's bought his 16710. That is a GMT Master 2 from Jessica Tropical Watch. Smooth deal. Yeah. Just outside of, it being, people that have done business with him, just for things to look out for as you're, as you're looking for pieces. So obviously, here's probably going to be an easy one. Very high prices. A Comex style 5514. So this is a Submariner with the Comex logo on it. Ghost bezel. So $112,000 right off the rip. Very expensive. Hey Bear, how's it going? Hopefully it's not too late for you as you're doing your traveling. Just nice to see you. the Comex style, very very famous. Price wise, obviously very high. So you want to kind of look at the descriptions here, and really this will show you a true, and you'll see this in a lot of good vintage watch dealers, is how much detail they give you. So I'll read this out to you guys. Case: the thick and even case is unpolished. This is actually a very big statement to make for any vintage watch dealer, to really say it's unpolished. Like, for them to say this on the website, it's likely unpolished. Like, they would, most of the times they don't know, right? There's a likelihood of it being polished, but they're not 100% sure. Jacek writes, the thick and even case is unpolished, showing average wear consistent with professional use. The bezel insert is also in excellent condition, has faded to light silver gray. Part of me, as I read this, I think maybe if there's provenance already, that maybe they bought it from an original owner or something like that. I don't know. Let's get into the dial. So the dial in vintage Rolex, guys, is the absolute, this is where all the magic happens, is in the dial, right? That's where the money is of a vintage Rolex. The matte black Comex dial is an excellent, showing only light wear for its age. So that's really good. Obviously, an excellent condition dial, can obviously pull through big money. The lume has aged to a clean, creamy hue, and the hands match perfectly. Right there, he's describing original lume plots and hands. Part of really, what makes an excellent vintage watch, a caliber for the dollar that he's asking for. Several of the lume plots are missing a portion of their luminous mass. Again, complete disclosure, like, he's put up pictures here. It's not like he has to really say that, but in the photos, he marks it out, right? There are some, parts of the lume plots that are degrading, right? Like, even though you can see it here in the photos, um, he still describes it, right? So that is, you want to be looking for a lot of disclosure, right? Especially if you're spending big money, you want to look for a lot of disclosure. The 11 folded oyster bracelet is showing only light stretch. Okay, so in this one, I may, you know, I'm not going to inspect the bracelet, but I would probably ask him that question: is the bracelet original? Or is it period correct? What do you know about it? Right? It just says the 11 fold. Usually they'll say like the 93510, or they'll say the bracelet number. It doesn't say it here, so I'd probably ask that question if I were looking to buy this watch. Accessories: 2012 Japanese Rolex service papers and August 2024 certificate of service from Tropical Watch. So again, it's given some provenance that it is, a Rolex that is original, or I mean, it's authentic at least. Not maybe not original, but authentic. With his 5514, there's no need to speculate the kind of life, blah 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 blah. It's pretty clear that from the date of issue on October 10th, 1977, spent most of his time hard at work, deep under the sea. So look, he's kind of looking at this watch from a, I don't think he has absolute provenance, like it's not from, the original owner or whatever, but he's kind of looking at the story of the watch. He's looking at the condition. He's probably looking for, sharp lines in the case. He's looking for consistent wear, and obviously with it being serviced by Rolex, um, you know, we can anticipate some stuff has been changed. And this is where it's important because, if stuff in the movement has been serviced, people are going to be like, oh shit, it's not original, or parts have been replaced and all that jazz. Well, honestly, in vintage Rolex, it doesn't really matter. Like, people don't care if, like, you've serviced the movement and, like, they've replaced parts in the movement. Like, as long as they're authentic Rolex parts, it's okay. Um, it's really the dial. It's, if those loom plots and those hands didn't match, or there was something else going on in the description, they just wouldn't be commanding the premium, I'd say, that he's charging for this watch. I want to give you guys maybe another example of what I mean with, kind of, and I've sorted this high to low, or, let me sort low to high. Let me find maybe like a cheaper example of a subby or a vintage sub, because, often, examples come up of Submariners, where vintage Submariners, where there's clearly, like, service dials, service papers, and whatnot, and you really want to be looking for originality. So I'm scrolling by a few subs. I'm just looking for something that may be a little bit more ideal. 16. Okay. Okay. So we got a Mark One dial. All right. So here we go. So obviously, nice looking piece. As you're looking at it, the loom. Some of this loom looks different. Like, this loom looks at a different shade. This one doesn't mean that, like, it doesn't mean that the watch is not original. I have Lumon watches that have faded differently. I have a Seiko 6306 JDM OG Turtle that the loom plots have aged to a different color than the hands, and there's a reason for that because the loom plots actually they were loomed in a different factory, and the hands came from a different factory during Seiko's like kind of vertical integration and whatnot. So, that's why they often or sometimes, obviously with the environment, age differently. So looking at this one, there's a bit of a bit of inconsistency as I saw. It looks a little too perfect, and that's where when you immediately see a really nice example on vintage, I would just say put your guard up. Put your guard up and then ask a lot of questions. Okay, so then we go straight to the description here. What is J6 saying? The case is excellent, showing sharp, prominent bevels and little, if any, wear from use. Black insert is also in excellent condition, showing light wear from use. Okay, so um, obviously stating that, and again, the difference in the ads, right? In the other ad, he said the case was unpolished. Here he's showing sharp bevels. I think here, it may be in that like line of like, well, maybe it was polished, lightly polished. We don't necessarily know, but he's not stating that it's unpolished. So very, very important as you saw the differences between the ads, where one ad was clearly like unpolished, and then this one, it's not stated, right? So again, you're probably going to assume it's been polished. But again, he's describing the case that it's excellent, so nothing to worry about. The dial, black Mark One dial, excellent, showing no visible sign of wear. The loom has aged to a creamy hue, and the hands have been reloomed. Here we go, and colored to match to the dials. All right, so that right there is very, very important disclosure. It's important disclosure to the originality of the dial, because as I told you guys, in vintage Rolex, the dial is like almost everything. And if you have reloomed hands, or if you've painted the hands to match the loom plots, because people do that, guys. Like, you may think it's wild and crazy, but people do that because they want an aesthetically pleasing watch and they don't really care about the investment part of it. Um, but a good dealer will always disclose that, will always be very very upfront about it. And again, interesting in this one as well. You should notice in the last ad we reviewed, it didn't really describe the date of the clasp. So, and the other watch had been serviced by Rolex. So I'm not sure. Maybe Rolex had even replaced the clasp. Who knows? But in this ad, J6 is very clear about stating that this clasp matches the date code of 1978, where this Rolex is likely from. So super cool, but very important as you guys are looking at vintage to, if it looks too perfect, ask a lot of questions. If you're not an expert, obviously, if you don't have a lot of experience in a certain type of vintage watch, buy from experts, buy from people that are good. There are a lot of trusted sellers. But don't be afraid of it. Like, making mistakes is part of the hobby. I'll grab the super chat from Sam Davidson, and then I'll kind of give you guys a story. So Sam Davidson, 5 British pound super sticker. Thank you so much, Sam. I think I'm caught up. I am caught up. Cool. I'll give you guys a story. So I bought a 1603. I think it was a 16030 Datejust from Rolex forums, from a trusted seller. I mean, it wasn't a David SW, but David SW had actually vouched for this guy. And we're talking like over a decade ago. This is a long time ago. And I buy the watch, and the guy actually posted it on eBay and had it posted on the Rolex forums. Simple, kind of like I think it was like an engine turn bezel, Datejust or whatever. Anyways, long story short, I buy the watch, gets shipped to me. At the time, I wasn't really as I obviously didn't have enough experience in watches, and so I said, you know what, I'm going to take it to my Rolex authorized dealer, get them to look at it. And right away, the authorized dealer was like, this clasp is not correct to the watch. Or, they weren't saying it was fake. They were just like, it's a Franken, right? And so look, like the point of the story, the moral of the story is, and look, the dealer took it back. There was no issues, all good. But the moral of the story is, if you don't know a lot about this stuff, like, you will take risks. You need to find good dealers that do a lot of, they really give you as much description as they can, because I think a lot of us who've sold stuff in the past, I mean, some of us are always, are people that over describe and want to ensure that whoever's buying what we're selling is getting the true picture of it, right? Like I'll always undersell the condition of a watch. I'll always say like, yeah, like the watch is in excellent condition where it's like in potentially near mint condition, right? I just don't want to. I don't want to oversell it and then say, and I've had that happen to me. I've bought when I bought my 39 mil Explorer one about 6 7 years ago. The seller had described the 39 mil Explorer as in like excellent condition, right? When you think excellent condition, you don't expect it to be mint. You know, there's gonna be a few scratches, whatever, but for the most part, it's pretty flawless, right? Like the odd little blemish, but it's for the most part it's pretty flawless. Like this fucking Explorer 39 had like a scratched up bezel, scratched up bracelet, like scratched up, like everything was scratched. And he called it excellent condition, like straight up undersold it. Like I still wanted the watch because it was my first Explorer I was going to buy, but it just like it just kind of ruined it for me. So I always try to undersell the condition so that I don't get into that. I wouldn't want to put someone else in that spot. Uzi says they're all on Facebook groups now. Not necessarily. Not, I mean, people are on Facebook groups, but a lot of them are still on the forums. Rolex forums is still very big. If you're new, Uzi, and you just want to do a quick scan of the forums, this has always been a good website. Watch Recon, and you can easily search like 5513, which is um, a Submariner, and then Submariner no date, and you can easily just search it. And what it does is it'll rip from different sources, right? It'll rip from the Rolex forums, from Reddit, from Watch You Seek, from Vintage Rolex Marketplace, and all these other places. So, really, really cool site. It's a pretty OG site, Watch Recon. I don't know if a lot of people use this anymore. But for me, I still kind of scour the forums because a lot of the big dealers are still there. And it's also easy to vet dealers, right? Like if you're ever wondering if Luxury Bazaar has been around for a while, just search them up on Rolex forums. I mean, they've been selling watches on Rolex forums for over a decade. Like definitely very 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 trusted, I would say, over time with people on that forum. I scanned the forums and saw that the same guys are on Facebook and eBay. Facebook is just easier. Yeah, look, it's whatever is easier for you. When I'm talking about vintage watches, like Uzi, it's the problem with vintage watches is when you're going to dealers that aren't knowledgeable. Some of them are not. So I'm not going to say all of them are deceitful, because many are just not knowledgeable enough to know, certain nuances, or know that or even look close enough. Some of them are negligent. I would say they don't look close enough, and then they'll sell something and not know. I think just a lot of them are not knowledgeable enough, and therefore you could buy a piece. They may not even do anything wrong, at least outside of just being negligent, and then you're kind of on the hook with something that it's like, well, it may not, and you show it to somebody who knows what they're talking about, and they're like, that clearly is not an original piece or whatever. It's really difficult, I think, on Facebook Marketplace to then recoup your money, potentially if it's a private deal or whatever. So vintage is a bit of, when they talk about it's a minefield, it absolutely is. Um, but it's not like it doesn't have to be that scary, guys. It really doesn't have to be. Um, it doesn't have to be that scary. Like, and that's why I tell people, like, if vintage Rolex is just too much for you, get into vintage Seiko. Like, start off with something that you kind of know that you're gonna like, and you may like chasing down certain quirks of a certain reference model that was only made during a certain period of time. You may want to chase that down and find a lot of fun in that. It brings a different element to collecting that we just don't get with, like, I mean, fuck, you go to every single like watch YouTube channel these days, and it's just like everybody's on European watch. You go to fucking Tim Wright, he's on European watch. You go to like the Watch Colony, they're on European watch. You go on OC's channel, he's on European. Everybody's on fucking European watch, right? Like everybody's looking at the same old shit. And what I'm telling people is like, don't be scared of vintage, because vintage will open up a completely new avenue of collecting. You can just collect Seiko turtles, and there's tons of models to collect there. You can just collect Seiko speed timers, Pogues, whatever. It doesn't have to be Seiko, guys. It can be anything. Whatever's in your budget, right? If you want to collect Rolex and you got the budget for it, and you want to go down that path, yeah, like collect vintage Rolex. Tons of good buying in Submariners. You can get, you don't have to spend big time money on all, not all Submariners are big time money. Explorer 2, is the Mark, the Steve McQueen. I mean, they're not that expensive. We'll look at a couple here on Tropical Watch. I've sorted it by price highest to lowest. Let's look at just some stuff that comes to my mind. Looks pretty cool. Um, Let us see, guys. Let us see. Let us see what is interesting. So obviously, you guys know I love day dates. Lapis Lazuli dial 18338. So it's got the diamonds on the lugs. Does not have a diamond bezel. Has a fluted bezel. Diamond indices. Lapis Lazuli dial. Just beautiful piece. Um, not everybody's cup of tea. Not everybody likes stone dials. I always thought that the lapis lazuli dial is one of the absolute best, not only for Rolex, but really really good in a Patek Philippe. They did a lapis lazuli Nautilus, I believe. Really really cool. So really like that one. 38,850. It's a little pricey, but definitely pretty cool. All right, we got double red seed. These are really interesting because I thought at one point in time these were going to the fucking moon. Double red sea dwellers. Like I thought these were going to be like hundreds of thousands. Like they're going to be fucking crazy expensive. But they vintage as modern became, the wave of modern during COVID became very prominent. Um, Vintage, because for to kind of understand the timeline of how the market started booming. Vintage was actually booming, and alongside 5-digit Rolexes were going up pretty well. Like at the release point of when the Pepsi came out, and I think that was around like 2017, 2018. It was around that time. The Pepsi comes out, which brings this resurgence, I would say, or part of the resurgence around the 5-digit Pepsis, because you just couldn't get a Pepsi. And I can remember buying a 5-digit 16710, like Loose Tooth was describing earlier. I remember buying one for like 6 grand Canadian, like just locally, really cheap. And then like the fucking ceramic Pepsi came out, and it just like it went bonkers. Like people were buying up 16710s like crazy. The prices were going nuts. And that's when the wave, the hype wave is starting to build up for COVID. And but it was building up in vintage much prior. When COVID hit, obviously all the money, and a lot of that money was new money coming into the market, not necessarily watch collectors that were in that market prior that had just gotten rich off crypto. Some of them maybe, but a lot of new buyers came into the market, during COVID for whatever reasons. People can say investment, just new people, more money, who knows, right? But a lot of those buyers gravitated to modern. They wanted the modern piece. The original OCs out there, they're not buying, even though OC is a bad example because he did buy a King Midas. So, kudos to OC on the King Midas and on the Texan. But many other people that are buying modern, that just buy modern, they just don't want to buy vintage. They want something new. They want the shiny new thing, right? So, Double Red Sea Dweller, in my opinion, really didn't reach its true potential, I think, in that upward swing, which is making it, I mean, $30,000 is not cheap, but when I look at a double red sea dweller, to me, it's kind of like it'd probably be more expensive than that. Let's just do a quick description check. I'm gonna look at the case and the dial. The only two things I care about. Recently polished case, so he knows it's been polished recently. All good. It's excellent, showing sharp, prominent bevels. So obviously, basically, he's describing here that the polishing was done tastefully. It's not fucked up. You're not getting a butchered case in that sense. Bezel insert has faded to a medium gray hue. Show some light wear from use. Okay, so that's cool. Dial is a Mark III matte black dial. Excellent. Is excellent, showing only very light wear for its age. The loom has aged to a warm, creamy hue, and the hands have. Okay, so here we go. Hands have been reloomed and colored to match the dial. There is a small scratch on the 7 o'clock loom plot. Let's look at that 7 o'clock loom plot, and there is the small scratch right there. So look, guys. Shit, what the fuck's going on here? Really, like again, really good description by Jacek here. Like this is why I recommended Tropical Watch to Ali that day. I was like, go with a dealer that like will describe and describe and describe, and in other ads are describing actual blemishes, faults with the watch. Like the more the more honest they are, the more likely you're gonna get the watch you want. Um, the less honest they are, or the less they add. The less could be. ABC, did I catfish you on with vintage talk? Is that what happened?
You did, you're talking about subs and pre-ceramics when Rolexes were reasonably attainable. They weren't worn for flexing or anything like that. And yep, you hooked me right in. How's
Talk
it
to me,
going?
ABC. What do you think? I'm good, bro. I'm good. Nice to hear from you, man. Talk to
Likewise.
me. So talk to me about that. Like I was noticing that in five digits that when the ceramic Pepsi came out, it just went bonkers. Like the 16710s like skyrocketed in price. Like, am I off on my timeline, or was it earlier than that? You tell me, because I know that you have one of those, I believe, right? So
Yeah, dude. Now, having had a 16710, I actually started thinking, you know what? I quite like this. Quite like the 16700 because of the quick set date.
mhm.
And now I can really see the appeal in that. There's a lot of overlap in when both models were made and sold. I don't know the ins and outs of that, but because you're talking about the subs, first I used to think a sub a lot of people will uh, grill me for this, but I used to think that a sub was a glorified date just. Now hear me out, because movement wise, it is a date just, and but as soon as I actually bought one because I saw one going for a reasonable price,
Mhm.
naked. But you can get these boxes fairly easily, and if you want papers, then you can get a service from Rolex, whatever. And when I actually held it and wore it, and I thought, I get it, because comparing it to the 16710, the crown's so much easier to manipulate,
I love it.
and the dial is actually crisper. It's not as crisp as the modern ceramic ones, but it's crisper. Obviously, it's unidirectional. And then I finally got the sub, as in I get the concept after
Mhm.
I bought it.
I
We
would.
have Mr. TMT. Sorry.
Yeah, I was gonna just do a quick segue here. Tap 1999 $2. Thank you so much. Tap the awesome Bubban, who says samosa fun for 10 and ABC. I'd love to have a samosa with ABC. ABC always takes me to the best desi restaurants in the UK when I go see them. GMT, my man, did I catfish you on with vintage and neo vintage talk?
You did actually, because I've always liked it. I'm always neo vintage. It just, and I bought my little, remember my day date chippy, as they
Yeah, man.
nicknamed it.
I was thinking about you when I was even doing this shtick. Was just talking about, like, thinking of like how you went on your journey. You flew to Brisbane. Why don't you talk to us
Yeah,
about that? Like, just how that went
yeah.
about.
Well, because I wasn't, because exactly you said the experience in this sort of field is scary when you're trying to get into, trying to find something that you really love like this. So I actually got the guy to send me heaps of photos. He even sent me videos of it. And just to be sure, I don't normally do this, but because it was the watch it was, and it meant a lot to me to be as good as it could be for the age. Obviously, it's never going to be perfect. As Archie's always said, they're not going to be perfect. It's very hard to find a near perfect piece. And, this has been worn. It's got a little bit of stretch. It's got its imperfections. It wasn't perfect, but I still saw that it was for the price. And what I had, going with the guy, and he was straight up and showed me photos and videos of it.
Mm.
I thought, well, the next step is to go down and actually see it for myself, and then I'll decide if I'm going to do it or not.
Yeah,
Because I'm not going to just go and purchase something, just especially something like that, just
I
from
was
photos and
I
videos.
was gonna say, GMT, because you flew down to Brisbane. You had done your research on the watch. Obviously, Plastic and other people were trying to troll you about it, but
Yeah, yeah,
you had done your research, and it really showed when Plastic tried to call it chippy and stuff, that you knew what you were buying. You had done a lot of the research, and went down.
yeah.
Let me ask you, because this topic came up. I don't know if Brody's listening in the chat. He brought it up in JJ's WhatsApp group, and it's been a kind of the vintage. It was a really good discussion with, like, Bob NYC and a bunch of other folks. Um, the dealer. Talk to us about the dealer. Like, were you confident in the dealer being trustworthy and giving you all the information, or you still, like you
Well,
said, you went down there and you still had to visually check it, right?
yeah, well, because I never heard of this dealer before, and I'm skeptical about it, like anyone.
Mhm.
You want to go down and actually talk to the guy. I asked him a lot of questions about his business and what he does, and how he got into the business. I asked all these crazy questions that I don't think he was expecting, because I needed to know exactly who I'm buying from. It's always buy the seller, right?
Absolutely.
So I went through the whole process of, what did I say? What Archie does? He what's he do when the panelist comes on? What does he do to a panelist when he comes on? He actually gives them
The soul reading.
soul reading.
Soul
Soul reading.
reading.
I gave him the whole soul reading, as you could say, right? So I went and did all that. So I knew, and I had to look at everything, even the box paperwork, everything. I went, looked at the numbers, everything, showed me everything. He was straight up, And like I said, it wasn't, by all means, it wasn't perfect, and I knew that. But I was really happy with the overall condition. So in saying that, and you're talking about this, I really wanted to come on and just say, it is scary, but if you do your homework and really, don't be scared. Just go do your homework. Ask the questions. Like you've been saying, it's not that bad. And I ended up with a piece that I'm never going to get rid of. It's just something that's going to stay in my collection.
And I think it's super enjoyable, and you're able to come on and share a story around it, right? Like the journey you went through, the research you did. I knew the story. Obviously, it was your
My,
family member
my
that you
father-in-law,
father-in-law.
father-in-law, yeah.
Yeah. You wanted to honor them by getting a watch that was similar.
Yeah.
So you were
It
looking
was
for
it was a very emotional moment actually when I did bring it.
right.
So,
You were looking for an example that really made sense. And I was super happy for you when I saw it. And I found the chippy shtick pretty funny, but I was like, you know what, GMT actually found a great example of a piece, and it even that whole like shtick even highlighted, you know, the kind of research you did and the kind of
yeah.
search you did for what you wanted.
Well, to back it all up as well, Archie saw it. He came up and saw it when he came to Darwin. Madman and Undertaker, they all saw it. They were blown away. They were, for the condition that it was, and how old he was. They were extremely impressed. So they were, and that's the first watch I wore. Actually, no, it was not. Yeah, the first watch when they were all together was my day.
Day.
I went and showed him.
Now we do have the rancher join us. The rancher is, I would say, very seasoned in buying vintage. He likes to buy vintage. I think sometimes even strictly buys vintage at certain points. Rancher, I've been talking to the crowd about vintage. You're one of the experts around these parts, around vintage. Well, what are your thoughts about people afraid of the landmines? What kind of advice would you give them, Rancher?
Sorry, I had my mic turned off. I would hesitate to call myself expert. I probably just maybe had just a little bit of experience, but condition. Trust. I mean, buy the seller. Of course, the 13th Amendment. You can't not literally buy the seller, but also don't go chasing the hype. Rancher keeps having his $5,000. Yes. Thank you.
Rancher, I'm having a bit of trouble bringing that photo up that you texted, but what I was saying was,
I've got a question for the rancher. So,
yeah, go for it, ABC, go for it.
are there any stories of you looking for a watch, the hunt, the pursuit? You found one, you thought you found it, some near misses. Have you got any of those to share?
Oh, plenty of near misses.
Or bullets that you've dodged as well? Those are
Oh yeah. Well,
good
actually,
ones.
Marco.
Sorry, boys, I've got to head off. I've got to go back to work, but I thought I'd come on briefly and just say a quick hello to all you guys.
Stay
And share my stories.
sexy.
Stay
Good to
sexy,
see you,
boys.
man.
Take care.
Good to see you.
See you, GMT. Thanks, man. We love Mr. GMT. Appreciate him helping us out when
Come and
he's
get
at
it.
work. Come and get it, absolutely. But thank you so much, Mr. GMT. Yeah, I'm super excited to hear this story, Clyde. The hunt, the search. I know there's got to be one of them. ABC's Ask the Money question, Clyde. Tell us.
Oh well, no, actually, I just remember a couple of times where Marco saved my butt down in Dallas
Okay.
and kept me. Basically said, "You realize that's a Frankenwatch. It doesn't match up." I'm like, "Oh shit."
Now, Doc will say a Frankenwatch isn't necessarily a bad thing.
Well, Doc likes to buy his watches pre-molested because it saves him so much time.
Well, look, I think that like it always kind of goes back to the whole, Rolex collectors, the snobbery around it. Like everything needs to be original, everything needs to be
Yeah.
perfect. You know what I mean? Like there's a certain type of buyer that is okay with stuff, not being original because they still want it. They still want that 4-digit Daytona, even though maybe the hand is different, right? Like they're okay with paying less money for that, and that's what I'm saying. Vintage has a lot of good buys, Clyde. And you've done great buys on really good examples like your 321, Omega Speedmaster, and others, right? Like
Right.
um, in terms of like bad deals, like have you ever
Well,
come across like really because you said they're Franken watches, like have you been like burnt in like a really bad deal even though you thought that everything was great and you were picking a good example?
yeah. Well, and here's NATO basically. God, he's a horrible person, but I do agree with a lot of the stuff he says. But if it's not perfect, you can wear it and not be scared, or scarred might be even a better term for it. Well, yeah, but sometimes just keeping your ear to the ground and not being a tool, not being an asshole.
I think that there's this comment, NATO. Obviously, it applies. It's funny because I'm looking here, staring at the massive scratch I put on the clasp of my Explorer 40.
Right.
That obviously stings the first day, and then
Oh,
after
you
a
get
while,
the
you just like,
440.
well, yeah, exactly. I picked one up a few weeks ago, Clyde.
Nice.
Yeah, no, great watch. Get your first scratch, you get pissed off, and then again, you don't feel scared to wear it afterwards.
No.
Um, vintage, Clyde. I talked about for modern collectors that are just they're just kind of into like they're just getting bored with everything because there isn't anything new coming out. I started the show with trying to showing what's new, and then I kind of went backwards into vintage, and I kind of told people like when you go into vintage, your world is just it's like 10x bigger in watch collecting because you can just collect models. Like I think Clyde, you've come across people that just collect Submariners, right?
Oh yeah.
And they can just go through.
They also collect the watches.
Yes, thank you. They go through references and they some might just collect 5513s and they want the Explorer dial or the Bart Simpson dial or all this other stuff. But it's just to me
Well,
that's exciting. That's what I find exciting about vintage. I think it just opens up a lot of cool things to research and learn about.
well, there's also there's different types. There's wearable vintage because a lot of times you're rarely going to come across something where someone just maybe they bought it, maybe they died right after, and they just got stuck in the safe for the safety deposit box. Maybe it's too good to wear. Maybe they got another watch that whatever. Maybe they got divorced. Their ex took it in the divorce custody and never let them have it again. And it wouldn't give them the satisfaction of buying it back. But there are watches out there that are safe queens, and there are watches that have been worn. But what's nice about vintage is there's room for both. And the ones you could get, the trouble is my 321 was a safe queen.
Mm-hmm.
It had someone basically, the original owner, dented the hollow clasp on the 6 o'clock side,
Mm-hmm.
and then threw it in a door, and apparently forgot about it. And there it sat for literally 60 years until I broke into his crypt.
Yes, that day, ABC, when Clyde was on the hunt for the 321, he had gotten he'd gotten word that it was potentially available. He was ready to make an offer, and I remember talking to him and just the excitement, Clyde, that day. I won't forget it because
and of course that's the community actually. Dr. BBC said, "God damn it! If you don't get that watch today, I'm going to cancel my surgery and I'm going to fly down tomorrow and buy it out from underneath you." And then I'm going to find out where you live, and I'm going to knock on your door and shove it under and wave it under your nose.
yeah, I mean the deal was so good that even Archie was jealous. Like, Archie was himself like he's like, fuck, like you got a 321 for that much money, and look, it was part excitement of getting a barn find, I would say, Clyde, even though it was a safe queen, like you said, but part excitement of getting the Omega 321. For those that don't know, Clyde ended up getting the extract, and it was difficult for him to get the extract of that watch because in the United States, I believe, Clyde, you have to go to a dealer to get it, right?
Or actually a service center, I believe.
Or service center. And where Clyde lives, it wasn't really super convenient for him. So I told them, hey, I looked it up in Canada. You just literally need information on the watch. If you want to send me some photos, we can upload them in, and I will, send it off, through Canada, and then I can get you the extract, which is
Yes,
what ended up happening. And
that's
it was
why I still talk to you despite everything you've done on this channel.
yes, that is also a bit of unknown trivia or lore of the Archieverse that Clyde actually hates me, but the only reason he tolerates me is because I got him that extract. LV is asking thoughts on the 3940 Platinum Salmon. 3940 is a Patek Philippe perpetual calendar with the 3 eyes subdial variant. Is this the best 3940? I would say that, well, look, in the 3940 Platinum, you don't get an open case back, so some people want that. The coolest 3940, I would say, LV, is the Michael Ovitz 3940. He actually got Patek Philippe to make him a 3940 10 years after they discontinued the watch. So that's one of the coolest 3940s. You're going to say, Clyde, sorry.
Well, what I was going to say also is, now I sent you a picture. Actually, that's the only picture I'll ever show of Uberoki.
All right, if that's the only way, I got to figure out a way to get this on my phone. Give me 1 second. I will.
Would you want me to send it to WhatsApp?
Yeah, that might be better. I got to make sure I don't dox you, right? So WhatsApp is always a little bit contentious, but I think I should be able to get it here. 1 sec. I'm just sending it from my phone to my WhatsApp, and I will get it up on the screen for everybody to see. Uberoki, for those that don't know, Uberoki, famous dealer, friend of Clyde's, I believe. From, I'm not even going to say where he's from because I'll let you talk, Clyde, of Uberoki. But here we go, Uberoki, and I'm assuming this is you, Clyde, with Uberoki.
Yep. Why? Okay.
All right, so we are looking at what looks like a 1680 up top.
Yep.
And potentially a 1680 below.
Yep.
Were these both your 1680s, or is one of them Uberoki's?
No, actually, I showed it. I went down and was telling the Uber about it was a watch fair or a gun meet / watch fair in Tulsa, like on March.
Loose Tooth is a bit of an OG. He remembers Cheap Charlie as well. I also remember Cheap Charlie. 1680, is this was your 1680 like the Mark I white dial, like the, what do they call it, the great? I don't know if they call them the Great Whites anymore.
No, they're just called white dials. See what happened. Here's the thing. He said, what do I think about the 1680? They showed me his. So I said, oh, we got to get a wrist swatch.
Yeah, but was yours like originally a white dial, or is it a red that went service white dial?
No one turns out, well, of course, unless it was refurbished parts that was in it. No, it was like late 70s. So, but here's the thing though. Great watch. It's the only thing that distinguishes it from the red sub is just, for some reason, halfway through the production run, Rolex decided, well, instead of putting Submariner red, we'll just change the font. We'll just change the color of the font or the word to white. Only fucking difference.
No, I know that. I had a 1680 red. But I don't know if
But the thing is, you can look around and you can find one that's been worn. It's not a safe one, and you can look around. I actually got mine for roughly the same price, maybe a little bit lower than a new sub date.
Okay.
And I will take that over a 116 or 12610 any day of the week.
Yeah, look, it's, the whole argument of vintage versus modern is we can get into that discussion forever, right? Where a lot of folks, and I used to own a 1680 red. I had a Mark IV 1680 red, beautiful piece, and I loved it. What's difficult for people these days, and I'm glad you two are on the panel because both of you guys are very vocal about your love for either neo vintage as well as vintage, and I think you guys are very similar like that. But just like people are scared, right? They're just like, well, I keep getting told that it's a minefield, and I don't want to lose.
Well, it can be a minefield. It can be a minefield, but like I said, something like this, it has been worn. It has been worn and used, loved, possibly even a little abused. The dial has, the dial has faded. Ghost bezel. Of course, matte dial almost in the business of chocolating. And then, even the pip is falling out, and the loom on the hands, maybe not as much in that watch because it's taking direct sunlight, is starting to orange up.
Yeah,
JR's his is in much better condition than mine. But on the other hand, we're each admiring each other's watch.
LV Tan, why did you sell your 1680, and would you ever want to buy one back? I know I bought something else after it. It's sad when you don't even remember what you bought after you sold it. Like, I know for a fact I bought something. I just don't remember what it was.
But white. But look for a white. Look for a white one. Don't get greedy. Don't follow the hype. If there's one out, and the reason I saw this one out there, it's just like, I fell in love with it. It was just like, it's within my price range.
Yeah, but you know what, Clyde? Like, and you're right. Like, Clyde is absolutely right that the best buys in the 1680 were always the white dial versions of them, whether they were service dials or original whites as they came out. And when LV's asked me why would I ever buy one back, absolutely. I love 1680 reds. I love 1680 whites, 1680s in gold. The 1680 is the first date sub. And I got a really cool. You're on the panel class. We're gonna nerd out here. 1680 prototype. We're gonna go to.
But even the guys I hang out with, even Uberoki, and even his former watchsmith, who has been inside and outside of these watches, have taken them apart, saw them, touched them, dealt with them, serviced them for years. One of the things he even said was, a red sub is on a different planet.
Yeah, they are. They're definitely a lot more expensive, I would say. I'm going to pull you guys up here. This is the prototype of the 1680. Before Rolex, the 1680, why this watch was so significant in the Submariner lineup was the transition of the Submariner from a tool watch or a pure tool watch in the previous gens
to a watch for tools.
To a watch for tools, to a luxury piece. Absolutely right. This is the first reference where they went solid gold. First reference where they put a date. So this was the actual design of the prototype of the 1680. This is what Rolex had originally, the prototype that they made for the Submariner date that we all know and love. If you kind of look at this, right, you see like a kind of like a president bracelet with bark finish. Really interesting. Completely different bezel. Obviously nipple dial here, you guys can see, and crown guards and everything else that has pretty decent Rolex DNA, but not exactly the Submariner that like we expect. We expect to see today, right? So I don't know, like what is this got? What is this like? Clyde, looking at this and ABC looking at this prototype of the 1680 to what, and I'm going to pull up your photo here, Clyde, in a second, to what we're seeing on the 1680, like. Just to me, is such an important piece in the history of the Submariner. Like, you can't get away from it.
Right.
So my ignorance is going to come shining through, and I'm going to say that reminds me of remember the last gen Tudor subs that had blue dial and silver bezels?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Reminds me of that.
I was going to say it makes me think of a Yachtmaster.
Yeah, I was more leaning to the Yachtmaster, where definitely the vibe is very Yachtmaster-ish. But yeah, I mean, like Rolex is, just to nerd out a bit more before I pull up your photo here, Clyde. I'll show you guys what the Yachtmaster prototype was.
The Rolex gold nipple dial has two of my favorite things on earth: gold and Rolex.
All right, so let me pull you guys up because Clyde said that one looks like the prototype for the Yachtmaster. Let me show you what the actual Yachtmaster prototype was. This is what a Yachtmaster, from the prototype was supposed to look like. Doesn't really look like a Yachtmaster to me.
Looks like a freaking Daytona.
Right. It even has Cosmograph Yachtmaster on it. That's what a Yachtmaster was supposed to be.
Are you sure you didn't pull an Archie and just pull up the wrong photograph? I mean...
No. This is from Jake Ehrlich, our good friend Jake Ehrlich on Rolex Magazine. Honestly, Clyde, if you ever get a hold of Jake again... I'm
talking to him all the freaking time.
Tell Jake to hop on and tell us about these cool watches, because he will know it better than I will. Jake the Yuppie's asking, where is our Pontiff? Archie will be live here in about a few minutes. We're just, I was a little bored, so I thought I'd do some watch talk to start us start us off for a bit. We got Rich Mitch, 2 British pounds. Will the white Speedy stand up over time? I'm going to let you guys answer this. ABC, Clyde, what do you guys think?
It's already earned its place in history.
Okay, I
ABC.
want to hear that. I think it will stand the test of time.
People may get tired of it. You know, like I said, attentions ebb and wane. But it'll, yeah, I think it'll always be there. Just because people at least want a choice.
Yeah, look, is it going to be the safe choice forever, Rich Mitch? Probably not, right? The Speedy has always been a black dial. Hesselite crystal, like, you know, the purists are going to want the pure watch. Like, you know, that is always going to be kind of the safe choice, I would say. But I would agree with Clyde that it's already established the white dial. People love the white dial. I think the white dial is, you know, a very attractive watch. It's not unattractive. And so, yeah, absolutely. I think it will be, it'll stand up the test of time. Da da da! Archie
how are you
Luxury.
Hey, there he is.
We got
Hey.
ABC. How are you going?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. How are you?
Hey, I've been better. You know, tire kickers and scammers. I had
We
Dav. Dav
can't
wanted.
wait to hear. Can't wait to hear it.
Oh my God, tire kickers, scammers. I've actually taken the listing down. It's so bad. Okay.
Yeah, we actually reviewed it earlier on the show where we went to your Gumtree and we saw that you're not lying. You did take the ad down. Archie, before you get
Yes.
into your main shtick, we're rounding up watch talk here. What do you think of this watch? Give us your review. You know, tell us the drum. What do you think of this piece on the screen?
You know, I've actually bought them like this. Yeah, 20 over 25 years ago. That's beautiful. This is actually quite nice condition. It hasn't been over polished or presented, tarted up. It's all original. This is barnyard find. It's missing the pip. But it's you know what? It's really nicely patinaed.
Like that ghost bezel.
Yeah, but does it have patina or does it have patina?
Patina.
I think it
I'll
has.
be honest with you. They don't do much for me, Tan. Okay.
But Archie, we were talking about how iconic the 1680 was. It was really the transitional.
1680 is an amazing watch. It's an amazing
But you
watch.
just said it doesn't do much for you. So why don't you clarify?
No, I kind of, you know, I look, I love the bluesy. I love solid bracelet. But you know, that's these are new, you know. The 1680 is the original, you know. No, it's beautiful. I'm just being grumpy. It's beautiful.
Well, we were
It's
talking
a
about
beautiful watch.
how it was the transitional model from previous to the 1680. It was all no date, right, or Submariner, you can say.
Yep, 5513s, 5512s. Yep.
Rolex always perceived them as tool watches. Then, when the 1680
Yeah.
came out, they transitioned to a solid gold model, right?
Yep.
And they added a date. So when we were just discussing, Archie, when you logged in, around the importance of this watch to really the history of the lineup, both of Submariner as well as Rolex itself, because I think the 1680 is a wildly important model to the Rolex range.
Well,
Hey,
I was talking to someone
totally
recently, and
agree.
they've had both of these before, but they're always a little bit lukewarm on the 16800, but love the 1680.
Why?
I don't know. It's Jake Ehrlich.
Look, the 800 was a transitional model, right? Aren't we transitioning from plastic
Yeah.
to sapphire at that point?
Yeah. It's they
Tom
had a
Ehrlich.
yeah, exactly. I've
Nate
owned a
Taylor.
few. I had a 16800 as my beater at one stage.
Can I ask one quick trivia question? I think I know the answer, but I'm going to ask Clyde and Archie,
Sure.
if you guys don't mind humoring me for free.
Sure.
What was the model of Submariner where the bezel became only unidirectional? Because in the 1680 it's bidirectional, which freaked me out when I bought mine. I was like, shit, did I buy a broken Rolex? Like,
well, look, it's a transitional model, so most trannies are bi anyway.
I thought it was the 16610.
So even the 16800s were bidirectional bezels.
I
I think it's the 800. I don't know.
I think you might be right. The 800 that
I
could
think it's
be
the
it. Then.
800. I think
Yeah.
it's the 800. But it's just crazy to see right? Because these tool watch Rolexes, that we think of like the Submariner today, unidirectional bezel, like it wasn't always that way. The watch was not always 40 mils; it was 37 mils when it first came out, right? So interesting.
No.
The kind of topic today, Archie, was we started with modern. I went through the Monochrome website, and then there was a question that got brought up around vintage, and then we kind of talked about how the modern collector is scared of vintage because it's such a minefield. But me and Clyde and ABC were talking about how much fun it is, when you actually go down the rabbit hole and you start learning about those watches.
Yes.
But here's
Yes.
the thing, though. If you get something like this, 16, yeah, it's Patrick B. If you get something like this, it may have been worn. It may have had the bracelet replaced, but that's all right. That's normally what it happens. But the price should reflect that. If it's not the original bracelet, if the bracelet's been replaced, or if it's been redialed, it has a service dial on there. But of course, God, I love Naked Loom. I just like it so much more. I don't know why.
Well, the Naked Loom, they did that on the 16800, the earlier ones.
Yep, and they
They had the-
transitioned to like
Yeah,
also-
unfortunately, I had one with the white gold around it, but yeah, the Naked Loom. There's something about nudity that is just, the funny thing is with these watches here, I gotta tell you, I also love the 1675. The GMT. That's a beautiful watch.
Yeah, we were looking at Tropical Watch, and I actually just saw one. So let me pull it up for you, Archie. 1675 gilt underlined Swiss only dial.
Yep.
Yes, that's beautiful. Isn't what's that? Late 60s, early 70s.
Yeah, and I believe the underline, Clyde, the underline on the dial means it's tritium. I believe that's how it identified it as tritium at the time.
Fuck.
Yeah,
Amazing, isn't it?
You can tell it's trim because it's fucking changing color.
Well, radium changes color as well, right? So.
Oh, that's
I
true.
think I can save this in this audience, but I don't think I could ever go for a ceramic GMT because the bezel is too crowded. It's too cluttered. It's like, let's try and make the figures as big as possible, but still be somewhat in line with the hour markers. I can't rest with that. And with the pre-ceramic bezel, you can actually get quite close to half-hour time zones. You can't with the modern GMTs.
But like I said, a white sub is a relatively safe bet. You can basically check a few things, and the variation it kind of depends on originality and how.
Actually, I agree with you. In some ways, I prefer a white sub to a butchered, molested, fake red sub.
Exactly because there's less fuckery. But on the other hand, if it's a red sub and it's selling for instead of $10,000 for like $20,000 or $30,000, there's so much more room. And God knows, and I have to admit, there are times late in the middle of the night having a crisis of conscience, going through eBay and looking for red.
We got Sucker Horn in the chat, boys.
Hey,
Give us the old
Sucker Horn!
There we go. We got Sucker Horn in the chat. Clyde, I got the. There you go. It's better. All right, King Midas, silver dial, white gold, very high price. Archie, Clyde, and ABC. What do you guys think?
Love it, love it, love it.
The king,
Love
boys.
it.
The king. The king.
The only thing I can say is thank you very much.
That is cool. I think that's really cool.
These had the heaviest as well at the time. These were apparently the most gold content.
Yep.
Look at that bracelet. Pretty neat.
And this was a time when people wore them.
You like this King Midas on the side, little.
It's a bit tacky. That's a bit tacky.
I don't know about that.
Well, it's but on the other hand, compared to Yachtmaster 2, it's real.
It's a bit like, I don't know if you saw that Ulysses Narden that Nico got made up.
Oh, jeez.
It's got his things on this. That looks completely tacky.
Yeah.
Look at the Special Ops Black Bay 58.
And here's the
Special
nice thing about the sub as opposed to the GMT. I mean, and eventually, like eventually the 1655, I think people were warned, hey, Warlux is not going to be supporting those movements much longer because I've heard people that took it on that said next time you bring it in, we may not be able to have the parts for it.
Absolutely. All right,
Did
boys.
they say that to you, Rancher?
What?
They said that to you or who?
Someone had someone on the channel was talking about. Then they were talking about having their 1655 serviced.
Can I tell you a horror story? I had a friend of mine. Actually, this is Marky. You know Marky, the Grange Hermitage guy.
Oh yeah, I love Marky.
So he wanted a birth year sub. He got a 1680. So what was it 1680? I think it was a 551. Oh fuck, I can't remember. Was it 1680 or a 5513? I think it was a 5513. Anyhow, he sent it to them for service. It had a original bracelet. He got a new bracelet. They kept the old bracelet. They ended up also listen to this. They changed the midsection of the case. So the serial number, they changed the serial number to a case replacement. They kept the movement. The dial and hands were changed as well. And unfortunately, I said to him, you've just paid. He bought this watch as a birth year watch, and it really just became a total disaster. Do you understand? Total fucking. And Rolex charged him a fortune to do it as well.
To molest his watch.
See, I think you're better off going to a vintage specialist than to go. See, Rolex, their attitude was it should be to spec. The waterproofing, the spec. They're all about the spec. But the spec, as far as collectability goes, you want originality, unmolested, don't you?
Well, unless you're Doc BBW.
It's still valuable. What they did, it was still a valuable watch. But they
they were seen as tools or implements. They weren't seen as luxury items. So it's like, hey, Bob, you set this watch off. You set this old Submariner off for servicing. And we got it back from the service center over in Dallas. And, not only besides cleaning up the movement, and it's now running like plus or minus 4 seconds, which is outstanding. But, they even like changed the dial in the hands. And now, it was so cruddy and old. Now it glows brand new. And they even changed the bracelet out. It's nice and tight instead of loose and jankly. And it's just like one of the brand new ones. And these brand new ones cost like $925.
Yes.
And Bob would say, cool. Thanks, dude.
No, that's right.
Dude, indeed. Boys, I got to run. I got to get to the chat, Archie. I got to drive some of this discussion. I'll let you duke it out with Clyde and ABC on Vintage and Neo Vintage. I'll talk to you guys next time.
Thank you. Thank you so much for
Thanks,
coming, man.
See ya.
See you later.
Super chat.
Does this overflow into the next show? Or do
This
you
is
stop
the next
and
show.
start? Oh,
Yes.
right. Okay.
This is the next show. We got a super chat. Thomas Barnett, Top Watch Talk, Tan and Co. Love the vintage segment. Yeah, those some very, very nice vintage talk there. ABC, you're a bit of a, I've become a bit of a Neo vintage fan. I think the sweet spot now.
Neo's not really that old.
No, I kind of think the sweet spot is that you can get like this 5 digits sapphire.
Yep. Agreed. That's the
I think some of those are like you really want to get one with original dial, don't you? Non-tritium dial, because they change the fucking hands, don't they? The hands, and that's the big thing they do, right?
Right.
And
Solid end links, holds case. Love those watches.
Well, I think the sweet spot, the absolute sweet spot. Actually, Austin Daniels had a segment on this. Solid end links, holds case. Remember they did that, early 2000s, 2002 or something like that.
Up until between 2000 and 2002.
And I think that's kind of the sweet spot, isn't it? You know, oh, we've lost Clitus, we've lost
Yeah,
him.
so those are now okay. So Arch, help me out here. So, like I said before, I don't think I would ever go for a 6-digit GMT. It just doesn't float my boat. I might go for a 6-digit sub, but I'm just wondering, with the
Thank you.
maxi
Resume.
pace and is it basically a big torso guy with skinny legs?
Look, I got to tell you, the funny thing is, it depends what you want from your watches, okay?
Now you
gotta
don't want
work.
your watches to be transitional, like your prostitutes.
Exactly. Look, I got to tell you, I really, I look back on stuff I owned before, and I really think Neo Vintage, I could very comfortably sit with Neo Vintage. You know what I'd fucking love to have? Can I tell you my dream collection, really?
Go ahead.
But I was really happy with
Sorry, hold on.
So in saying
My
that,
bad.
and
God damn it,
talking
quit it.
about
Stop.
this, I really wanted to come on and just say, it is scary, but you got your gear.
There we go. Sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. I really think.
You know when I pull you up on the TV, your horns are enormous.
Hey, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I got to tell you, I reckon a beautiful 5-digit collection, you'd have a 16-610 sub date.
Mm-hmm.
You would have a Explorer 2 16570.
Super chat.
White dial?
Super chat.
Doesn't matter.
Super
Yeah.
Doesn't
yeah,
matter,
black
really.
super chat.
Easy, in fact.
And is Patel Philippe $10? Is watch investing dead? Rolex is still safe buying at retail? No, I tell you the truth.
I think eventually, I think the time of classic Archie will come into play again, which is simply Rolex are durable items. Buy them pre-owned, best condition you can for a discount. I think those times will still. I think that time will still come back.
I gotta tell you, I think watch investing, yeah, it's got rid of. See, the problem is Rolex became a tool watch. It then became a watch for tools.
I already used that one. Sorry.
Look at you remembering the good old days, Clydesy.
Hey,
Why?
hey, Marky, I was just saying, you know what I reckon the most beautiful, if you were building a Neo Vintage collection, you get a sub 16610, you get an Explorer 2 16570, and you would also throw in a GMT, some sort of like a 16700. Right?
GMT. Here's a 6-digit one, though.
Now, to answer your question, ABC,
You don't want to get a common plebeian 6-digit.
Of course not.
That'd be incredible to have. That'd be absolutely amazing.
Super chat.
Super chat. Where have you been buying? Just very quickly, buying Rolex at retail. You can't buy gold or two-tone. It's only steel sports.
And that might even
Patel Philippe, $5. Mark, Clyde, and ABC with no influence from AC3. Pick an ideal 5-piece Neo Vintage Rolex collection for the Pontiff. Yes, sir.
5-piece, bloody hell.
Okay.
That's only $1 per Canadian. It's a big ask. I don't know. I don't like Neo Vintage. So 140 60.
M.
M or no M?
M.
Yeah, M, a 16710. Yeah, I'm out. That's it. That's all I got.
So,
I
Clyde,
like this
those
stuff.
of us who are ignorant, what was the difference between the M and no M? What's the difference between M and no M?
Well, M is a little bit later. It's a transitional piece.
It has a newer movement. It has the newer movement in there.
There we go.
And they then started, so it became a 4-line as well.
2-line. The M was a 2-line. No, there was a 2-line. I had a 2-line.
No.
I thought I had a 2-line, Clyde. You didn't have a 2-line?
There was 2 and 4. 2 and 4.
I had the 2, but I didn't like it. It was flimsy.
Yeah,
It had a
mine are
crappy
nice.
clasp. Aluminium. Ugh. Ceramic, Fikers. Ceramic.
ABC, you had Neo Vintage. You got a modern one as well, didn't you? What
I
happened?
don't have any more. No, I had a Modern Explorer 2, but I got rid of that and got the 16610. So I've got 16710, all 3 wigs, a phrase coined by Clyde. The 16610, and that's. I was going to pull the trigger on a 16570 Polar,
That's what I was going to say.
but the market's still in free fall at the moment, so I may still hold out for one.
Are you trying to catch a falling knife? Trying to bite on the way down? Pretty far down.
Touche.
Yeah. I bought. You know what though? I did buy that watch. I sold it. I paid $3,500. I don't know if it's going to ever be that low again.
We got watch for it, $2.80. What 2 vintage Rolex to add to a 5513 and a 1680? What 2? It's simple. You need to add to a 5513. I'd add a 1675 GMT,
Yep.
Yes.
and I would add a 1655 Explorer 2.
Fuck me.
We
that's
need
what-
to add one of Doc's Daytonas,
They're
Yeah.
too expensive. They're too expensive.
but they're so cool.
We could add a Speedy. Add a vintage Speedy, but
Man,
There's no limit on price.
Yep.
There's no imposed limit on price in the super chat. So I'd say
Super chat.
definitely go for one of the Doc Daytonas.
Patel, $5. Why do you love and why do you hate the Rolex Thunderbird?
Ooh, there's an oldie.
Yep. Well,
It's
no,
30.
they were making the
I wanted a
Thunderbird.
41 mil.
They were
Wow.
making the Thunderbirds up until the beginning of the 21st century.
I do like them. I mean, you could time stuff. They had a turnable bezel, which was
Yep.
nice on a date
But
chest.
spinner. The original, you could say it was the original sports watch.
You could time a pizza with that thing.
And also, if you got one of the later references, they came out with different dials, a lot more modern. Yeah.
What's the hate? Nothing to hate. Okay, friction fit. There you go.
Yeah. I thought you liked friction fitting.
Well, friction is our friend, Clyde. Friction is our friend, but not in bezels.
No, that's true.
I prefer a click in a bezel.
Okay, super chat.
Stupid.
We got a super chat here. Patel Philippe, $5. AC3, how good was the champers when you mixed the boxed wine and swept soda water out of the Aces Bay? It was amazing.
It was from a bottle. That wasn't box wine. Come on, that was a classy move. P. Diddy is learning how to make Pruno toilet wine as we speak.
I got to tell you, ABC, you've had a few Neo vintage. So you got a 16610 now, is that right?
Yep.
What year?
It's about 2000 P serial. Yeah, about 2000.
Okay, so it's Luminova.
It's Super Loom. And my 16710 is K serial, so that's about 2001-ish.
Yeah.
So they're both solid N-Links Holes case.
Beautiful. Would you
Love
so
them.
you got would you add the Explorer 2 to complete that hat trick?
I might do. Those prices are still falling, like I said. But I'll have to get out of a few pieces that I currently have. What is that? Oh, that's the.
Well, it's a very weird thing about the GMT Pepsi in ceramic. It's got the blue on top, but when you put UV light on that blue, look what happens. It just turns red.
Look at that.
Isn't that cool?
It is. Indeed.
Very weird, but it turns the whole bezel red.
Amazing
That's
stuff.
on the diesel.
Bezel. Anyway, there you have it. Kind of cool.
I got to tell you, Marky, you were never a Neo vintage man, were you?
Never. Well, you know what? Actually, that's sort of how I got into Rolex in the first place. But then I discovered ceramic, and I never looked back. I sold all the old garbage because the clasps are horrible. The hollow center
I'm going
links,
to get a soda water. I'll be back.
the jingly jangly. Super chat, double super chat. Don't leave him. He's leaving.
I'll be right back. I'm going to go to the bathroom.
Clyde, now you're leaving.
It's only me. Come on, we do somewhat know each other.
Well, it's true. It's you and me, ABC. We're gonna hold down the fort.
Hold the ship. Yeah.
So when they first UV lighted this thing, to just kind of charge it, and I saw what happened, I was like, "Fuck! I bought a fake." But it turns out that's what they do.
So I think the first, the white gold Pepsis. I think there was a bit of, there's like a crimson kind of red, not an actual blood red.
Well, even on the steel ones, there apparently have been 3 different iterations or colors of the red and blue. They kept perfecting it or changing it. And people are all into one or the other. I don't
think
know.
of the white gold Pepsi with the blue dial.
I would have felt a little bad if I bought the white gold Pepsi before they came. Because the white gold one came out first, and then they put it out in steel. And yes,
No,
the blue.
Mark, it's completely different because it's got the weight. Weight.
That is true. But from a glance, the only thing that you can tell from a look is the blue. But in most lights, it's going to look black anyway.
Here's a good question, Patel Philippe, $2. Why you never recommend 16622 for Neo Vintage? That's the Yachtmaster one.
I love the 116622. I was literally just Googling that, thinking about buying them. You can get them now for maybe 11, maybe
the thing
12.
With the Yachty, right? I always saw that were you a fan of those? They came out. I remember they were so hot. They came out in the 90s, right? Right.
I think so.
Hey, just like Mark.
Oh, that is true. I did come out in the 90s.
Yeah.
Good call, Clyde.
Cool. Here we go. Let's have a look at that there. So you get a lot of these Yachties. I love them. They've had the platinum bezel, platinum bezel. How could you go wrong with platinum bezel? Tell me this, please.
No, you can't. It's beautiful, and it's kind of a weighty watch because of that little bit of platinum that it has.
Platinum.
Do you know that if you were to take all the platinum produced in the world in 1 year, it would fill up like one truckload, one boxcar, but all the gold would fill up the entire train, like times 10. Very little platinum is mined. It's very rare.
But what about the catalytic converters that have platinum in them and all these cars that are unleaded or hybrid?
Thin layer. Super chat.
Super chat, watch for it, $2.80, 4 or 5 digit Rolex chronograph. Which one? Well, look, 4 digit is amazing. That's what
they're so expensive. The Doc has one.
Yes, 2.
So expensive, And by the way, I wanted to ask you something there, ABC. You were very impressed with the Breguet, weren't you? I had on.
It's an ornament. Nice to look at, nice to hold, but to wear on your wrist? No,
it's an ornament. Correct. It is. It's
beautifully crafted. I can't fault it. The engraving
amazing
on there.
bang per buck. If you want a gold, what the best, out of all these Neo Vintage, what the best Neo Vintage in solid gold is, bang per buck, Mark?
Neo Vintage in solid gold. I don't. Maybe a Yachty.
Yachtmaster.
Yachty. Because they're so unpopular. The Yachtmaster or the Yachtmaster 2?
No, the Yachtmaster 2's got that fuck off ridiculous swagger to it.
Yeah, and it's not really vintage. Yeah, I guess the Yachty. That's true. The Yachty.
Because they weren't much different. I remember they weren't much different than a gold sub, but they've left them. They've kind of.
They're lagging.
Yeah, and they had that solid gold bezel.
It's
You
not
know, the yellow.
Yeah. It's just the Yachtmaster has. Listen, the Sea Dweller is more popular than the Yachtmaster. I mean, so they're just the redheaded stepchildren of the sub.
Have either of you guys owned a Yachtmaster?
I have.
Okay.
I had the 116622.
That's the two-tone, right?
Wish I wouldn't have sold it. No. It's a steel. I had the steel, the previous movement from what we got now, which I think is the sweet spot, and it was the blue dial, platinum bezel.
I had the two-tone gold, rose gold with a blue dial, and I wish I would have kept that one as well. The trouble is those big, damn soft gold bezels.
Superjet. No, I had platinum, but platinum's not that.
Mine was rose gold. Sorry.
But platinum is soft-ish. Also, the difference is that when you scratch gold, you lose gold. When you scratch platinum, the molecules just move.
Right.
Superjet.
Tell Philippe $5. AC3. Make an ideal neo vintage 4-piece Patek Philippe collection. Big photos only. Thank you. Look, neo vintage. I think I had a fucking. You know what? I tell you what. If you really. I was trying to do that. I was trying to do that because, you know, Patek, I was trying to go 5110, which is your beautiful classic world time, most beautiful Guilloche.
The least desired, the least attractive world time.
Oh, well, it's stolen. It's stolen. So Clive, it's stolen. So it's the best one. Clive, you've got to tell me it because I don't have it anymore. It's the best one, Clive. Yes.
Well, actually, the value went up since you quit showing yours on TV. So
I would say 5036.
You're so mean.
Okay, these are on a bracelet. Okay, that's an annual calendar. It's actually the one after my one. I think these on the bracelet are sensational. You know what else you would add is a 5070, which is the chronograph. You add one of these. This is fucking amazing. And one more piece. One more piece we would add here. I reckon we would add a 5. I reckon we'd add a 3940. Just fucking beautiful. Look at this. There you go. Annual calendar, perpetual calendar, a world time, and a chronograph. What more could you possibly want?
Looks a bit.
And we got Watch Chat. Watch Chat has joined us on the stream
Erwin.
from Malaysia.
Good morning, everyone.
How are you?
Hello.
Erwin, if I come to visit you, you're going to have to promise to defend me in court if I get arrested for being a homosexual in Malaysia. Just please promise me that you'll take good care of me.
Definitely, anytime.
Thank you. I promise not to commit any atrocious acts in public, but nonetheless, we have more super chats. Archie, super chats.
Here we go. We got a great super chat here. Patel Philippe, $5. Show me a reverso you love, a reverso you hate, and a reverso you would never own because you are so repulsed. I gotta tell you, reverso is something I tell you, some reversos. Let's have a look at some reversos I love. I tell you, okay, that's easy. This is easy peasy.
A tribute?
Very easy. JLC reverso. I tell you what, 1931 tribute. I think that is just classic black. That is fucking beautiful.
Classic.
The reverso I hate is the Squadra.
Okay.
That's the slightly squarer one, right?
Yeah, that's exactly it. And the reverso I can't stand.
Why do you hate that? It's a bit more. It's a bit wider, a bit more.
Yeah, they never really took off. And I would have to say they had an automatic. I think they did an automatic reverso, which is ridiculous. Actually, that was a Squadra automatic.
I always thought running the reverso was the biggest pain in the ass. It's this little teeny tiny crown. It just seems like you're winding.
Yeah.
You got big, giant, fat Oklahoma fingers.
Do they turn you on?
Here we go. We got a question for the panel. $10. Question for the panel.
Just
Here
kidding.
we
I know
go.
they do.
Question for the panel: who would you respect more, the man who first wears one Rolex for 50 years, or the man who keeps the most hypest 20 watch collection for 10 years?
Tan, look, we still love you. Okay, you don't need to like. I know this is you asking for attention, but we still love you. Okay, so there you go.
Mm. Mhm.
I got to tell you, I think I would respect the guy who keeps one Rolex for 50 years. I think that's the fucking,
That's
you know,
that's the be all, man. If we could only do that, right?
Well,
exactly.
Art, that Mr. Smelly, that perfume guy, he's got the 16700. He loves it. And that could be his one and done.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. That's an amazing watch. You know, I got a lot of respect for somebody. I tell you what I find, okay?
Lady voice.
You must remember, when you see
You
somebody,
must
you always
remember
eye them up.
this.
A kiss
Kiss
is still
is
a
but
kiss.
a kiss.
A sigh is just a sigh.
Thigh is just a thigh. Hey, we got super chats everywhere.
We got super chats. Here we go. We got a great super chat. William Gaudrian, £2, €2. Hi, Art. Show me two-piece collection, Neo and New.
Mm.
He didn't say what brand, did he?
Pick one. I mean, that does sound Rolex-ish, doesn't it?
You know what I would say? I would say the best two pieces for that. Let me just see if I can find it. I reckon the best two. Let me have a look here.
Mm.
Let me have a look here. I'm going to bring this up.
How about a
baby.
rainbow Daytona and then a 4-digit? There you go.
Oh, okay. You know what? I reckon the best two-piece. You know what I would do? Listen to this.
Listen, Clyde.
1680, like Cliver's.
Mm-hmm. I thought it did less than nothing for you.
And a brand new ceramic steel date sub.
What do you think, Clyde?
Old and new. It's like having two Mercedes.
Old and new. Clyde and me.
Old and new.
I would say a 5513 and a new sub date.
Yeah.
Two slips.
You know, and I fucking, you know, I tell you honestly something. I really wish I had just one. My problem is I was always fucking cheap. I was always a cheap fuck. Okay, let me explain it to you. When I got my Explorer 1, I didn't want the Explorer 1. It was the one I could afford. Okay? I actually would have preferred an Air King with a sapphire crystal than a plastic 1016. Can you believe that? How stupid I was?
Clyde,
I was slightly disappointed. But let me tell you this, Mark.
Mm.
No, I'm not.
I think a two-piece collection. I would be so fucking. I wish I could sell my garbage.
I wish I may. I wish I might. I wish upon a star.
I really wish I could have two pieces that made me happy. That's enough. That's all you need.
Why do you need two? You respected the guy who wore one Rolex for 50 years and then got buried in it.
You know, you must admit, somebody who's got one watch, right? They don't have security concerns. They don't have storage concerns. They just got one they wear every day. That's it.
Right. Why do you need two? See, two is a gateway to three.
I agree with that.
Sports wine, a dress wine, it's just a gateway drug. Right? Right,
100%.
ABC?
100%.
Just one. We got to go down to one. Let's all go down to one. One. Just one from our current collection. One. Archie, we'll work our way down the panel here. Archie, you're keeping one, and everything else goes. Which one of your ones?
Bluesy. It'd have to be Rolex, okay? It'd have to be Rolex.
100%. Okay, so you're keeping the bluesy, and well, what do you think I'm keeping? I know what I'm keeping, but which one do you think?
Solid gold.
Also, anybody else want to hazard a guess what I'm keeping from my collection?
Have you sold the Batman, by the way?
Oh, God, 5 years ago. Okay, I'm keeping the Hulk. The Hulk.
Ooh.
Steel, so it's robust, but it's different. Okay, so I'm keeping the Hulk out of all of them. Erwin, down to one.
I'm not gonna keep any of my watches.
Ooh,
In fact, if
wow.
I were to only have one, I'll probably go with the 5990.
No, but you have to keep one of what you currently have. That's the game. So now you're stuck. So just you gotta. Which of the children do you let go in the house fire, and which one? Which one do you
You're trying to stick him with rules, and this guy has been professionally trained to evade rules.
Yes, you
Give up now.
you lawyers damn near outnumber us. But the council, you've been ruled out of order, and other council, please answer the question.
16, 7, 10 all day.
All right. We're sticking with the 5-digit GMT. Council, it is now your turn. Rancher, of the current collection.
1680.
1680.
I'll go with the Yachtmaster.
And ABC is picking the Yachty.
What kind of yacht?
Owen's
Yachty.
got the
116622, is that right?
What dial?
Yeah. The blue dial.
If you have it, I love that one.
Agreed.
I love that one. I sold that one. I'm sorry I did.
That is the Duty Robson special. His girlfriend, the Portuguese TV presenter, has his.
Do you still talk to Duty Robson or not?
Yeah, we talk about you all the time.
I haven't spoken to him in
No, just kidding. I
years.
haven't talked to him in years.
No, he was a little bit egotistical. I don't
A
know.
little bit egotistical.
Yeah. Did you find that?
I agree with everything except the little part.
Okay.
Which is the biggest ego here on the panel, Clyde? Tough one, I know.
I have to say the other lawyer.
Okay. You're right. He's the most humble among us, other lawyer, you. Okay, Archibald, let's move along.
We got another super chat here. Thomas Burdett, £2, 5 pieces. 16. Let's I'm gonna call this up to add value for Thomas here. So we're talking Rolex 16753. That's a two-tone GMT. Yes. Yes, love it. These are a bargain, actually. 1655. That's the Explorer 2. Yep. Steve McQueen. 6541. That's the what's that? GMT? No, it's the Milgauss. Fuck. These are big money. Big money. Big money.
No, 1019 is Milgauss, right?
No,
this is the earlier one that had the Submariner bezel on it.
Bezel.
It's earlier.
Bezel.
ABC.
No, 1019 is Milgauss. 1016 is Explorer.
No.
No.
Your 6541 was the model before that. These are no. Look at this here. This was when it was a hybrid. It was a Milgauss with a timing bezel. Okay.
And
a Tudor
didn't know that.
snowflake.
You learn something new every day.
Amazing.
Yes.
Amazing. Patel Philippe, $5. Archie, take Watch Chap shopping at the Lange website and pick the piece for him that will fit his lifestyle. I tell you what, better than going to the Lange site, because Lange, I got to be honest with you, they really fucking suck. They're expensive as shit. Let's go to European Watch Co., who I think, to be honest with you, they're fucking expensive. They're not a cheap dealer. They aren't fucking cheap, right? Let's have a look at his pre-owned shit. Let's pick something pre-owned because we're about value. Let's find something for him. I tell you what I would pick. Let's have a look here, guys. Oh, this is perfect. Look, because he's already got the Breguet. I love this. Lange up-down. The up-down.
Oh,
look at that.
What kind of Breguet do you have?
$23,000.
What kind of Breguet do you have?
Oh, the traditional.
Look at this. Clive, don't you agree? Any person who has a gold Breguet, you give them more respect.
Absolutely. Their stock goes up. My book.
Yes, exactly. It's
I'm still pre-gay.
What if they own 5 Seiko turtles?
As long as they have one Breguet, still.
What if they have no Breguet? What if I have no? I mean, what if they have no Breguet?
Look, this is a fucking bargain. Look at this, 36 mil, right? But these are beautiful. This is the platinum.
36 mil.
Yeah, but it's cheap. It's cheap. It's not expensive. You know what I
Well,
mean?
Yes, because it's tiny, teeny
Well,
weeny.
Come on.
Actually, I must say your selections are quite spot on. You know, so far you've been trying to select pieces that
I love-
suit me. I
Look
think
at
it's
this
quite spot
white
on.
gold, blue dial. Look at this. That's fucking the Sax. I'm not a big fan of the Saxonia, but I do like that blue. I think that's gorgeous. Oh fuck! You know what? This is what you need. This is it. Look at this. Lang A1. Lang A1. These are a bargain. Well, relative bargain.
34,000.
Now, Mark, what do you prefer? Do you prefer Lang and Hein or Wang and Heine?
Yes, yes, I do.
Okay. Thank you.
I reckon that Lang A1, if you could stretch to that, that's
These are just
what
too
I
expensive.
would.
They're too pricey.
I struggle a little with the Lange one though, I must say.
The only Lange I really like is the Odyssey.
I'd say get a Pinot Reserve. I'm sorry, but I just don't
Let's have a-
see. I'd
What do you
get a
think?
Pinot
Let's
Reserve
have a
over-
look here. We've got Lang
Glasuta,
A1.
yeah? Glasuta one, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, 100% agree with that. I've fallen in love with that watch. So much more
Which
bang
one?
for buck. And it's
I tell you-
you're not going to like this. It's a Glasuta original
I'll go with this
Power
one.
Reserve.
Guys, we got to pick one from here. We got a choice. We got the
I'll
up
go with this
down,
one.
the platinum, the Saxonia. Oh, Saxonia is 33 mil. Fuck, that's too small. Kick that out. Lang A1, the platinum 1815, or the up down. Which one? Pick one. Pick one.
Up down for me.
Oh fuck, the up down is 36 as well. Fuck. That's a 36 because it's so. That's why it's cheap.
Yep.
You know that? That's why it's cheap.
Damn.
Fuck. Sorry. I think out of those
Okay,
there,
I
we
take
would
this
have
phone
to
call.
go Lang A1. Yeah, we'd have to go Lang A1.
Erwin, how big is your wrist?
16 centimeter.
An inch. Alexa, how much is 16 centimeters in inches?
16 centimeters is about 6.3 inches.
Oh, you have that cute little Asian wrist. You can wear a 30. You can wear a 36 millimeter.
36 is fine. Yeah, that's why I say I think the up down is it's fine for me.
You get much over 40. I know you like these 41, 42 millimeter watches, but they're going to start looking big on you if the lug gets anywhere over 48. I'm thinking.
You know the largest watch I have it's 48.8.
Ooh.
Panerai?
The lug, you
So,
mean,
that's the one. No. The circumference.
The what?
Sorry, the
circumference? Well, does it look like a pie plate on you? Does it look huge?
You know the one I showed you the last time?
No, I don't.
This one.
And he's off. All right, hold on. We're gonna blow you up here.
Oh, you are.
Shut up, Clyde. Go to my room. You've been naughty. Yeah, but put it on. Oh yeah, but
What is that again?
it's outrageous.
That's the HYT.
Hate?
Outrageous.
HYT.
The height.
Heidi?
The height of gauche.
Oh.
HYT.
Let's see. Let's look at this. You know what though? It's lug to lug is like kind of controlled, so it doesn't look ridiculous.
Yeah. So this is my largest watch.
Yeah, but what's its lug to lug? I mean, it is no lug. It's just round.
Yeah, it's luckless.
It's round, so it's 48. Whatever its circumference is, that's its lug to lug. There's no lugs.
Yeah, no lugs, luckless. Yeah.
Yeah, basically it's sort of like the Seiko. What the fuck is it called? Tuna. No lugs. Little T-Rex lugs.
So yeah, it's
Yeah, no, you can get away with that one.
it's pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
To answer your question the last time, how do you tell the time? You see this liquid here?
No.
Oh fuck.
That green liquid inside?
It's mercury.
That's the hour hand.
Oh.
So
Fuck!
it's 8.
That's the hour. That's so
It's-
cool, man.
It's 811. Yeah, and this is the this is the second hand.
So basically, you have to take it to a hydraulic, engine repair shop for a service.
Caterpillar, your nearest Caterpillar dealer or John Deere dealer will be able to do that.
I think
William
you have to-
Gaudrian, €2. Show my 2-piece collection in your mail. Look at this. This is
now
fucking.
that
is perfection.
there you go.
Did he mail you as okay?
We've got that beautiful Pepsi that we share, William Gaudrian, and then you have what looks to be like a 36 millimeter day date. And I don't know what that dial is, but it's a diamond dial. Beautiful.
I'd say maybe onyx.
No, onyx is black.
Or
Clyde.
Stella dial, maybe.
No, it's also not a Stella. Stella is a single color. This is a ombre dial. I think they call it ombre. Anyway,
I got to tell you that vintage. So that's an 18238 with that dial. It doesn't get better than that, really, does it? What do you think?
No, especially diamonds done right.
That's fucking beautiful. What good with that? What's wrong with that?
well, it's a little small, but because of that bracelet, it stands out a bit more than it otherwise would.
Right.
I got to tell you something. Seriously, look at that. That is absolutely fucking perfection. And I think it's good to have the size variation. Normally, I'd say, why didn't he get the 40 mil? But this actually fucking pops.
Oh, that's a bit vintage. Yeah.
Clivers, would you ever get a day date again?
No, not really.
It's funny you say that because I was actually thinking I've owned day dates too. I've had a couple in my life, right? I've always.
Clyde never looks back. Clyde, you never rebuy, do you?
No, I did. I've had subs before plenty. So
All right, because I constantly rebuy, but I don't think you do that much.
not as much as you do. Then again, no one as much as you do.
Well, I get buyer's remorse. I get seller's remorse. I just get remorse.
Remorseful.
Mm-hmm.
Mark, you haven't bought the
That's
same watch
because-
4
That's
times.
because you're one of God's chosen people.
Well, I haven't bought 4. That's true, but at least twice anyway.
Well, someone may on this panel may or may not have bought 4 to the Black Bay Burgundies.
Ooh. You know what? I've bought 2 of them, so I feel you. It's what? It's easy to flip it, and then you start to miss it. So when I bought it back, I'm like, I'll never let go.
It's like how the Speedmaster used to be. I always called it the bus stop watch because
Yeah,
you would just get on and off without any consequences.
that is true. Then they raised the price.
Yeah. Then getting off started getting a lot harder,
Hmm.
especially once you start getting older.
You get older, it's good to get harder. It's not so easy.
To get off.
Okay, we got more super chats, Arch. Catch us up here, big
I'm
boy.
going to tell you something there. There's some amazing stuff there with these. That 2-piece just mesmerizes me. We got WC90, $8. Comment on the JLC Gyro Tourbillon 2. I've got to tell you something. JLC is a brand that I really do think is underrated. And I mean, the Gyro Tourbillon
Gyro.
2. What's the Gyro Tourbillon?
Gyro.
This is a reverso. It's a reverso. It's a reverso. Gyro Tourbillon 2.
Gyro.
Look at that. Fucking hell. Look at that. That is an
Well, we
amazing.
can't look at it. You didn't put it up. Put it up.
Sorry. Putting it up now. Are you taking those now, Mummy? There we go. Look at that. Absolutely stunning. Look at that. What the fuck is that? It's not just a tourbillon. It's a gyro.
That is gyro.
Tourbillon.
That is nice.
Yep.
Gyroscopic.
Amazing. Secondhand, these things plummet.
That's the only way they could be affordable. But
Unfortunately, most JLCs do plummet on the second-hand market.
that's a good thing. You never buy one new.
Which one? Watch for it. $2.80. Which one to keep? Ortavia 2447C or 65 Speedy?
Ooh, I like the Altavia. I'm not supposed to, but I kind of do.
That's a Hoya, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, this
Mm.
is more popular, but
I got to be honest with you. That's a beautiful piece there. You can't go wrong with that. You're taking that in, are you? You're taking that in for recycling. Okay. I got to tell you there, it's man, I'd go for the. It depends on the originality. How original is the 65 Speedy? Like, I don't know. It's not about which one do you keep. It's which one is in better condition. The one that's in more premium condition, that's the one I'd be more keen for.
I'd almost answer the correct. I'd almost argue the correct answer is which one do you just freaking like more?
Good point. Good point. Which one
I
do
only
you
have 1
freaking?
point. Yeah, I only have 1 point, not 2.
We got a super chat here, Patel Philippe.
whoa!
Whoa.
You really did you answer the Did we get an answer on the Altavia? Just whichever one you like. Sorry, that's
Look, I would have to say, let's just have a look at that. Or
we got to give Watch for it his 279 Canadian value.
Yeah.
have a look what this thing looks like. Oh, it's beautiful. I love the racing strap.
Yeah.
Click one so we can see it.
I think it looks a little bit better on a rally strap, but yeah.
What do you think of that? Isn't that beautiful?
I like it.
That is nice. Yeah.
I just don't like Speedies. That's my problem. Can't help
Oh, it's a panda as well. Look, reverse panda.
Yep.
I've got a proper panda, and I don't even love it that much.
Did you see that thing? What they did in China? They painted these dogs to look like pandas.
Oh, God.
Yeah, no, but cool.
Into the chow chow.
Chinese zoo paints panda dogs. Sorry, Marky. These were the dogs, right?
Poor thing.
They look like pandas, but they started barking. They weren't baby. They weren't baby pandas. They were chow chows.
Well, it's a cheap and easy way to populate the zoo, I guess.
What would the Chinese zoo pay for a Minotaur? Just asking.
Here we go. AC3, pick ideal 5990 for watch chat. You know the 5990.
Watch
that
chat.
is
I love that.
That is a beautiful paddock. 5990. Let's have a look. You know what? I think I'd have to say, fuck. I think the most beautiful is I love the Nautilus. I love it. I love it to death. Solid gold. Look at that. But I actually prefer the 5980 in two-tone. Look at that. That is the most beautiful two-tone in the world. So that is a chronograph, whereas the 5990 is a chronograph and a time home, and also a
GMT.
It also is has the extra complication there. It's a travel time. $240,000. Fuck, that's ridiculous money.
I'll go with the steel. I'm okay with the steel. I think it's the one watch that rules them all. You know, you've got a GMT, you've got a diver capability, you've got chronograph in it. What more do you want?
I don't know if I mean, seriously, this is so much money. You know, that's you could buy a house in Malaysia for that, couldn't you? A nice house.
Definitely. Oh, speaking about Malaysia, Archie,
Kampung.
the people here loves you. You know, when you say that you're thinking of coming over to Malaysia, do come by.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
We'll bring you to have some chicken feet. No, Mark.
Erwin, it's a big job. You have to feed them.
The chicken feet. I like the chicken feet. I love that. I love those. I don't mind eating feet. I got to tell you.
He loves feet. Trust me, he loves feet.
any kind
Look,
of
I
feed.
tell you, Malaysia. I tell you, I want to take a hiatus. Malaysia has
Hiatus.
special rules
Hiatus?
for digital
Yes.
nomads. I'm thinking of staying there for a month or two.
Do come
Erwin, do you
by.
have an opening in your house?
Yeah,
Sorry?
Show us
definitely.
around your house.
I'll
Let's
bring
have a
you
look at
to
your house.
my house.
Yeah, show us Archie's room.
I've got to prep that up first.
Understood.
Just thanks.
I got to
Super
tell you something. I got to tell you, any man who has a breguet, they gain something. Like Donny Haynes. Oh, we've lost the rancher.
Uh-oh.
I got to tell you, really, you've got to understand with these watches themselves. There, Donny Haynes. He's got a gold breguet.
The Watchfather.
Breguet is that's a brand. That's not that's a complete opposite to a hype collector. Ranch is a bit of a hype collector, aren't you? Have you ever owned a Breguet, Clive?
Rancher's a
I
hype
have
collector?
I have what?
You're not a hype collector. Oh my God.
No, absolutely not.
He has all this weird stuff nobody ever heard of that's like water damaged that he loves.
Yes.
I mean, he was at the forefront of the lyrique. And then when it was a hype watch, he sold it.
He's very clever. He cashed out.
True.
Patel Philippe, $5. AC3, you are
I
curating an FP Jean for watch chat to
Ooh.
wear on a vacation.
Obviously, I spend everything wisely except my time.
FP John. Wow.
I don't know. Is that a brand you really want? How do you feel about FP Jean? Is that a brand you even want?
I think it's. I wouldn't mind having one in my collection, but it's so unattainable these days.
I don't know.
It's
Bill
really
Sanders loves both of his.
Hi, my name is Bill Sanders. Can you remind me of my name again? I just forgot what it was.
Look, I would have to say, look at this. I love this Havana, the Sovereign Havana. I think that is the most beautiful. That would suit.
That's very nice.
I think that's just simple. It's beautiful. You don't always have to go with the most expensive. It's just a beautiful watch. The attention to
Yep.
detail on this is amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Yeah, no nonsense.
We got another super chat. Patel Philippe, $5. Watch chat. If AC3 gives you a dollar amount, how much? If AC3 gives you a dollar amount of how much his collection is, buy one heavy hitter for the Pontiff with the cash, what would you pick?
In other words, you're cashing out your whole collection and turning it into one watch.
So
Don't say
I
the
think
jealousy.
my collection would be about 90,000 US, Clive.
All right, watch that. What are we going to do with 90G?
Ooh,
US?
90,000 US. I would go for. Let me see.
The problem is some of this stuff is unsaleable, Mark. It's very hard to
Also,
get out
some of this stuff is still, on credit and on a HELOC and not paid for.
Well, HELOC technically is paid for. I've just got to.
Unlock.
I got to unlock it a bit.
Yes, I understand. What's your interest? What's your current interest rate on that HELOC? Well, watch.
6.19.
That's not too terrible.
No.
Archie, what do you think of a Vacheron?
I love Vacheron. Actually, I was thinking of doing a swap. I was talking to my friend about doing a swap.
Kinky.
A Vacheron retrograde date. What do you think of that?
Tell me more.
Day date. Vacheron retrograde day date. I was thinking of doing a swap for that, okay? You guys all retrograde. I'll bring it up.
If I were to pick one for Archie.
These are fucking huge money. I could get one.
Yeah.
Retrograde.
And
like this. Don't you like that?
I think I would pick an overseas perpetual calendar. the gold one with a yellow gold with a blue dial.
Yep.
Yeah, that's big. Oh yes, you could do that. Actually, that's something you could do.
I think
Yeah,
that's more
that's a
your
beautiful
style.
watch. Could
I
you
think
wear
that's more
that
your.
every day, but watch chat? Do you reckon you could wear that every day?
I mean, if you can wear a bluesy every day, I think you definitely can pull that off.
Yeah, but a bluesy has got steel. You know what I mean? It's
It's got steel.
You've got the swagger.
the swagger. Yeah,
Ooh.
I must say this as an everyday watch, you can't beat Rolex, Clive. We got a super chat. Herman Piano Dude, $2. Take the family to Tokyo. Stop being selfish. That's from Herman. I like Herman's moralistic advice. And we're happy to plug Herman's channel. Herman's Patel Philippe, $5. Watch chat. Pick a Vacheron for AC3. Pull up the Vash site and let Erwin shop for something spiffy for the wrist.
Nice.
Of course.
Of course.
I got to tell you something. Vacheron itself, I didn't have the money. I could have. Do you reckon I had a choice of either that Vacheron or the World Time? What do you think I should have done?
The world timer from Patek.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ooh. Patek is nice.
Patek is not. I got a 5130. These are fucking gorgeous. So what? See, I don't get these things. You know, the artistic shit. That's
Yeah,
just
not those.
ridiculous. The Patrimony. Oh, we got client Marky there. Patrimony. I think Breguet's. I think your Breguet'd be better. The overseas, they're fucking expensive. They're beautiful, but look
That
at this.
one, yeah, with the blue dial.
I like that green, but I don't know if green's my color. Man, this stuff here is just serious coin. 60 grand. Holy fuck. I don't know what to say here. See these tourbillons? Look at that. Fuck.
Yeah. Oh, the salmon.
Salmon dial. Beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah. I
Do you
reckon you
reckon
can go
if
with.
you had a Vacheron like this, it could keep you happy forever? Is that all you need? See, even the 56 complete calendar, 74,000. Fuck. Fuck, they're expensive. Fuck.
Yes,
That's
actually, you got quite a big wrist, don't you?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Fuck, these are really expensive. Do
82,000.
you think a Vacheron would you could just handle? I think your Breguet's classier than these.
Yeah. I think I prefer my Breguet more than these. But what about a 222 for you?
They do that as a limited edition, don't they? That 222, you know, that gold. Here it is here. Look
Yeah.
at that. Do you like that? Yeah, we could go with that.
Yeah.
100%. 222.
I mean, look at that.
That's a fucking gorgeous. They're expensive, but they're expensive. Could you wear that every day?
There's no seconds hand. How do you set it?
Look
Would
at
I
that.
wear it every day? Yeah, I think I can.
Oh, look at that. Isn't that sexy at the back there? Look at that. Fuck. Look at that.
No micro adjusts. Cool
Yeah,
bracelet.
I love the bracelet.
That's for people where close enough is good enough on the time. You're like the chairman of the board. The meeting will wait till you get there.
My Patek doesn't have a second hand.
Yeah, well, then, once again, if it doesn't have a second hand, it doesn't really matter what time it is. The meeting is not starting without you.
Look at that. It's Vacheron. It is beautiful. Yeah, I agree with you. There we go. We've picked it.
Super
And we
chat.
got Patel Philippe, $5. AC3. Set up a trip to Malaysia. A bunch of Malaysian punters were chiming in the comments of watch chat's first experience would be cool. Yes, Malaysia is. I really love Malaysia. I might actually do that next year for a month. I want to go for a
I want to eat Malaysia. The food's supposed to be wonderful.
It is. It is. Do come by, Mark. You're invited as well.
I would love to.
Don't let him slurp your noodle.
That's illegal, Clyde.
No, it's not Archie.
I see and I understand.
Yeah, do
I gotta
come by.
tell- that looks
go-
fucking beautiful. That I could easily do that watch, but my problem is, could you ever sell your collection off and buy something at fucking retail? Fuck, that would be poisonous. Like, I know I'd have to wholesale all my shit off, right? And then I go and pay retail at a boutique. Fuck.
You know, I've seen the first 222.
Yeah.
I believe that's, you know, Waco.
Yes.
Yes, so I've met him, and you know how he dressed, right? He's very
Yeah, he's cool.
Yeah, so and he puts it off, you know, with a 222 go.
How did he make his money?
I think he does a lot of reviews. He writes quite a lot of stuff.
Did his magazine make him rich? Rake? He had Rake.
Yeah, I think he does a lot of reviews for others, you know, and he endorses some other brands as well, I think.
Yeah, but that doesn't make you rich. I
I
think he
don't
came
know.
from money.
I don't know. Can't comment.
We've got a super chat here.
That is
Yankee
cool.
Doodle, $5. Being that Asia has a crazy amount of watches for sale, which city in Asia has the best watch shopping, best prices? China, Japan, or other? Well,
Yes.
I think Hong Kong is pretty good. But Hong Kong, you got to remember, a lot of places are tourist traps. Tourist traps.
Looked a bit empty when you were there.
Tourist trap. I think you have to. You got to look around a bit. A lot of tourist trap. They want full price for stuff.
I think in terms of variety, you can still get it from Hong Kong. You've got more
Someone's
varieties in
saying
Hong
here,
Kong.
Tap is saying Waco has family wealth. Dad used to be a big shot in government. Okay. Thank you. I think China is pretty crap. China's crap. They don't really have much of a second hand. Hong Kong is that. Well, that's kind of China. Singapore is. I find Singapore expensive for watches. I think.
Oh,
You know
yeah.
what? I think Australia is fucking cheap. I tell you honestly. I think Australia is cheap. Okay.
I would think Hong Kong would still get better options. In fact, Malaysia, a lot of some of the watches here, they got it from Hong Kong, especially Rolex. You know,
there is. I don't know. Malaysia has got some absolute. Look, it's like any of these countries. There's no bargains there. There's no bargains. Bargains. I think out of all the countries, look, you've got to break through. Japan, they don't like to discount. They're fucking nasty. Hong Kong, you can haggle a bit. You've got to do your research, otherwise you will pay too much. Mark, have you ever bought watches overseas much?
I bought a Seiko in Thailand, the Blue Lagoon.
The Blue Lagoon? Sorry, I didn't have my microphone properly plugged in. I don't know if you could hear me.
Yeah, I heard you. We all heard you. I mean, little bits and bobs, but no serious watches, because then you got to pay duty coming home.
I know. Malaysia has. What's the tax in Malaysia?
right now well, I think you do get charged for tax for 8%. They were thinking of implementing a luxury goods tax, but they haven't done it yet.
What about
a luxury goods tax? What sort of what the hell? Why would they do that? That's terrible.
What about domesticated animals? How long is the quarantine?
Sorry?
What about domesticated animals? How long is the quarantine?
Oh, that I have no idea.
Well,
Sorry.
you're going to need to know if you're importing Archie. That's Clyde's point.
I see.
Clyde, you're very naughty.
Ivis, when are you going to go to Hong Kong?
Travis, when are you going to leave Oklahoma? I know you know. I know your Clyde is due here in Chicago in like 2.5 weeks, and I know you're not coming. 100%, I know this.
How do you know this? How do you know this?
I know this because he doesn't fly, he doesn't leave, he just talks about it, but he doesn't do it.
You don't want to see America? America's fantastic, Clive. I could see you doing a road trip, Clive. You've got the vehicles.
Are you going to come to America anytime soon?
Me?
Yes.
It's too expensive.
Oh. Why have Tanzil paid your way?
You know what? Jimmy has a good point, Clive. They're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats. They're eating the minotaurs.
It's just so expensive. You know what I mean?
Introduce Archie to our wide and vibrant Haitian community.
So I'd have to say, look, Japan has some amazing watches. They don't discount much. China, they don't really have a secondhand scene. They got they got high taxes in China. You're better off to buy from Hong Kong. Hong Kong has no taxes on new stuff. I think that's kind of the best way. But I got to tell you, man, Hong Kong, I think, is probably Hong Kong. I love Hong Kong. I think Malaysia is probably my favorite. I just love the food. I love the people. Malaysia is very, very. I don't want to get into an argument here, but some of the local Malaysians can be a little bit lazy. But
no argument there.
The Chinese and the Indians, very, very hardworking people. Hardworking. And I kind of, with Malaysia, it's a beautiful country. I love going from the airport on the express. They got the train from the airport to the city, to Central. That train is very good. Very good train. And the traffic can be pretty vicious in Malaysia. I want to see. Oh, we've lost our two people. I've lost our two. Clivers and Marky. Marky, thank you guys for being on there. I really do appreciate that. They were some really good guys.
Awesome.
Tell me this. Would you ever get a JLC yourself?
I think I would. I think I would.
I was thinking of selling my JLC, but I fucking changed my mind. I've kind of said to myself, what the fuck? Hey, Rancher, back again.
Yes.
I kind of, sometimes you go out there and people just really piss you off. The watch market is not and it's not super easy. And I look at it and I really, I love I think the brand is special, and I like sort of oddball things. I like big things. That's the thing I collect now is bigger size things, because the fashion has gone away. They've gone a little bit smaller. They've retracted a bit, I like to be behind. I don't like to follow lead. I like to follow behind, pick up the bargains as it changes. I've got to tell you something. Would you add a second Breguet? A second Breguet to your beautiful?
Well, I might, but then like I said, I'm trying to stick to one watch per brand for the time being. Yeah, so I've not really thought about if I were to get another Breguet. If I've got the money, I would probably prefer to spend it on something else, something I don't have, like a JLC.
Oh, really? Are you looking? Yeah. So you're thinking about buying a JLC? How about a gold JLC?
A gold one?
Yeah.
Like Archie said it. Hey, Mark.
Howdy. I believe Archie is selling one of those, Clyde.
Yeah, yeah.
I changed. Actually, I'll tell you honestly, I can't be fucked anymore. I've had the moment of truth
yes,
where
you
I
can.
realized why
Yes, you
do it.
can.
Guys, remember, please do not go onto gumtree.au and make bogus offers on Archie's Gold JLC. Remember, please do
Also,
not do
ask lots of questions.
Do not ask for more photographs. Do not ask questions, and do not ask for more pictures.
He also loves trade offers. So if you have any
Do
like
not ask. Do not ask for his
Mac-
lowest price.
Hamilton,
Yes, please, Hamilton. Please do not ask for Archie's lowest price.
I got to tell you seriously,
Hmm.
I kind of think my own collection. Sometimes I'm never happy. I'm never happy in life. I think
Who is?
you know,
well, I know where you're coming from. I'm never happy unless you're never happy.
I just don't know how to be happy. You know what I mean?
So rude, so mean, so nasty, Clyde.
Well, happiness, it's
Overrated. Happiness is overrated.
yeah,
Maybe
it's
if
difficult to
you
obtain.
flew over to Malaysia with your gold GLC and showed it to Erwin. Huh?
Huh?
Hmm.
Hmm?
And then the next episode, Archie will say, I got scammed in Malaysia.
I gotta tell. I honestly sometimes I think I
Check out that really hard.
Oh,
I've actually stopped. I think the answer is stop buying. Stop buying. The economy's turned nasty, Clive. The economy's turned bad,
That's why
Clive.
it's the right time to buy. Buy now. Buy. This thing was $25,000 at its high. I think I paid under 18 for it.
Show us your GLC again.
I don't have it here.
Well, just fly over to Malaysia and just leave it there at your house.
I really love that watch, Clive. As you know, I tell you
Nice.
honestly, that watch. I'll see if I can find a good picture of. I got a good picture. Here we go. Have a look at this. I've got a good picture.
I've got a story to tell about a Rolex GMT.
Ooh, let's hear it.
So I was hunting watches, and I found this guy who was actually selling a couple of other watches, and one of them was the Rolex GMT, the Pepsi.
Yeah.
So I found him on Instagram.
Yep.
So I then made an offer, a bid, to actually make the purchase. And I was supposed to actually transfer the money, and the watch would then be delivered to me. So I did that.
Yeah.
I transferred the money, and then the watch never came.
Fuck.
I got scammed.
How much for?
Yeah, I got scammed quite for. I mean, it was a good buy. I mean, I should have known. Nothing is too good to be. That's just too good to be true. Yeah. So the next thing I did is I went witch hunting. And I found some details of the guy, and I sued him for it.
Ooh, you never mess with a lawyer.
And did it work?
And he returned the money.
Of course.
Oh, he returned the money.
Did you get damage? Did you get triple damages for?
No, you just got
I
his
should
money
have,
back.
But no, that didn't happen. I just got back my money. That's all.
What about your legal fees?
Well, he represented himself.
Yes, I know that, but like his time is valuable. Did you forget to include legal fees?
Yeah, that's dumb.
I don't think you can do legal fees as a pro se. Sorry, even an attorney pro se. That's where you have the guy next door say, "Hey."
There you go. Exactly. You get the guy next door. Clyde, what about pain and suffering?
I have plenty. I have so much on this fucking channel. What do you ask?
Emotional distress.
Oh, tons of that too on this channel. Yeah.
So yeah, that's my story.
I
get scammed as well, Archie.
Well, it's easy to be. It's a tough world we're all in. Was he in Malaysia, that guy?
Yeah, he is. He is in Malaysia.
And what did he? Oh, well, that's it. And what did he say? Did he have any defense or anything, or what?
Oh, well, the guy that I sued said that it's not his account. He just lent his account to someone else. So But for me, I didn't care. For me, it's if I deposit my money into your account, you're responsible for it. So you've got to pay me back.
And he said, yeah.
Oh.
As soon as I take this flight to Beijing, I'll be back with your money. And that was back in 2014.
Well,
Thankfully
magically, you got your money back.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
All right, Archie, why are we looking at the JLC?
The reason we're looking at the JLC is that I just wanted to show you what a gorgeous watch it is, man. This is fucking.
It's nice.
How much were you asking for it on Gumtree in real dollars?
Fuck Gumtree. You know what? I don't want to sell it anymore. I don't care. I
You
just
have
like
seller's
it.
remorse.
I got seller's remorse. Exactly. I don't want to sell it. I no longer want to sell it. Can you believe that?
No.
You know that? I need
Super
to sell
chat.
it. Why do I sell it?
Why don't you read the super chat?
Why do I sell it? Tell me that. Why would I sell it? Tell me that.
Why don't you read the super chat by CB?
CB, here we go. Super chat from CB, $10. I was happy when I had the one. I went you on W up. Why didn't I stop there? I was happy when I had the one. I went you on W up. Why didn't I stop? Because we're nuts. We're nuts. That's the reason. You know what I mean?
Okay, Kelsowitz, the former.
We're nuts. We're nuts. That's the reason, isn't it? Why do we do this stuff? We're nuts. You know? I got to be honest with you. I seriously think I'm envious of people who can have one watch and be happy. That's all you need. You know, it's sort of
the people that could be happy.
Yeah, good point. But I got to tell you this with the watches themselves there. Mike the Snake is joining us. Hello, Mr. Snake. How are you?
Hi, Mikey.
Hello, Mike. Mike, you haven't got your microphone in. We can't hear you.
How about now?
Yes, we can hear you now, Mikey.
What?
Yeah.
What?
My button was pushed on my headphones. Yeah, it's a mute, function. A little red light goes on the wire to tell me, and I saw that it was red, and I was like, "Oh, that's the problem." Mark, how you doing? So I used the powers of deduction and pushed the button.
Beautiful
So
stuff.
now-
I got to tell you something there.
Yeah, wasn't that eloquent?
The amazing thing is, I got to tell you this. Seriously, bang per buck.
Yes.
Bang per buck.
Uh-huh.
I don't think you can get more heavy, chunky gold than this JLC in a watch. It's this. Compare this.
Yes. Compare this.
I got to be honest with you. What more do you want, man? I don't know why I'm never happy. I'm never happy with watches. I'm never seem to be happy.
Yeah, nobody is.
Well,
Are you happy? Are you happy?
No, I wish I didn't have any watches. Well, I wish I had one watch. I wish I would have stuck with the first one.
The fucking date just. The
date.
date. It was a date.
Yeah. Yep. Wore it for, you know what? I wore that thing for 10 years without taking it off and never even needed a service. And I was happy, and I didn't know that there was such a thing as a collection. I had a watch. Why would I need a collection? And I was happy. Ignorance is bliss.
Yeah.
I was happy as well.
Yeah,
Until I met you guys.
I'll be right
Until I
back.
met Mark and Archie on YouTube and said, "Oh yeah, I should have a collection."
No, we sucked you in. We did, we did you no favor. So
The thing is, with these collections, you build these collections. What for?
If you're doing a
What are you
favor,
going to do with them?
misery loves company. We just want friends to go to therapy with.
I'll show you something. Hang on, guys. I'm pulling out a box for you.
Quite frankly, I blame Archie. Archie, you're the
I do too.
right.
Yep.
Yeah, me too.
He's been such a bad influence on so many.
Super chat.
There is a super chat, but we got to wait till he comes back because he's nowhere to be found.
CB.
Yes, we do. We got a super chat. Super chat. Where have you been? CB, $5. Stop doing the taxes and pull up the picture that went with my WeChat. He sent me a chat. Look at this here.
WeChat.
Oh, pull it. Oh, this is a 3-piece Neo. We want a Neo collection. Look at this. This is actually quite nice. I'm pulling this. Oh, fuck. Daytona, GMT, and... Oh, fuck. This is interesting. I'm going to pull it up. Pulling it up. Pulling it up. There we go. This is CB's 3-piece Neo. 3-piece Neo. Look at that. A Daytona. That's a Zenith Daytona.
Yep.
The GMT. And then a Sea
Dweller.
Dweller. A Sea Dweller.
Sea Dweller.
Archie, I think I might have the solution to your monetary problems. Oh, he got up, didn't he? All right. Super chat.
Yeah.
Been a while since I got the yell $100. I want to make the $100 yell, guys. Help me out here.
I reckon having 3 pieces is good enough.
How many?
3 pieces, I think, is good enough.
Just leave it like that. Mark, are you watching this?
But then again, I think 6 pieces will also be good. You know? Or maybe 7, 1 for each day.
Here we go. I got some things to show you. We got a super chat here. Yankee Doodle, $2. Been wearing my 16610 since 2005. Adding a Breguet.
Breguet.
I was going to show you something. Have a look at this, guys. Bang per buck. That goes with the JLC, right? I'll show you the box. Now, a big box. Zenith. Look at Zenith. It's actually bigger, and it's only steel. They like to. There was a phase when they went through big boxes. People wanted to see they bought something substantial. So, this is JLC. Look at that.
Oh, there's Neo.
That's the box. Look at that. Master compressor.
Oh, no.
Big
Neo.
box. And, you know, the thing is annoying about JLC, a lot of these, but they start to go sticky. Do you have sticky? Especially in Asia where the temperature doesn't really work that well. The temperature doesn't work well. It goes all fucked. It gets sticky. It's like a Ferrari with that sticky interior. Sticky buttons, Clive.
I might have a way for you to end your financial problems if you're interested.
What is that, Rancher?
Well, you could start your very own specialized OnlyFans page. It would be called Only Horns.
Thank you. We could see what we could do, Rancher. It's not easy. It's not easy being green, Clivers.
No.
Just hang on. I'll show you. Just pulling it out. I'm gonna pull this out for you guys. This is how they present. I wanted to show you. This is how they present the master compressor. I'll put it in the box for you so you guys can see. Because you got to remember, when you spend big bucks, a lot of these people who buy this shit, they have big egos. Big egos. They want their ego stroked. That's how the master compressor comes. Look at that. Da-da-da-da. Does that look like a $50,000 purchase? What do you reckon?
Very nice.
Yep.
$50,000. It's just ridiculous. Aussie. Big purchase. The funny thing is, the Zenith has a monster box. Look at that. Monster.
Now, does the Zenith box have a hole in the middle of it?
What for?
Yes, to match your watch.
Sorry?
To match your watch.
A hole in it?
Yeah, big hole in the middle of it.
No. Here we go. What it does have, it's got a little travel case, but which
how very
interesting design.
No, I wasn't going to use that word. No.
Zenith has interesting design, Clive. Very.
Did you watch the Watch Gringa video from earlier today?
Sorry?
Did you watch the Watch Gringa video from earlier today?
No, what did she say?
Basically, she's talking about obtainable alternatives to hype watches.
Oh, okay. And what did she recommend?
Well, she's bringing up the new Zenith as an alternative to the Daytona.
Yeah, fair point. Da-da-da-da, look at that big box. It presents well, don't you think?
Yes, that's the Patek one, right?
No, that's the Zenith box.
Zenith.
Oh, well, okay.
Zenith. Because you got to remember, bang per buck, this is not in the same league as the Patek, but it's a big, chunky box, isn't it?
And she actually presented like as an alternative to the Nautilus, the Rolex Defy Skyline. I thought, that's pushing it just a little bit.
Yeah.
Of course, the Laureato. It's like, why
we got
not?
Eddie joining us. Eddie's joining us. Where are you driving to, Eddie?
Nowhere, just in the neighborhood, man.
He's in the hood. That's good to see.
In the hood, man. It's all good in the hood, man. What are you up to, Archie?
Hey, no. I'm just doing the stream. We're talking watches. We got some great collectors there. I was going to show you.
You're selling that watch you got. You're selling that watch you got. The
Chelsea.
I'm not selling nothing. That's the.
I want that watch, man.
That's the
Where
master.
can I get one?
You can buy his.
Quite reasonable. I think that
it will actually have Archie's DNA all over it, but you can pay extra to get it off.
That's cool. That's even better, man.
Even better.
I want Archie to engrave it with it. Will say it's from my friend Eddie, man. From Archie.
Yes.
Hey, I saw that watch that one guy got. Hey, that one guy got that one hydraulic watch. That's pretty cool, man.
Cheers, buddy.
You know what that hydraulic watch, man. You know what I'm
that's
about?
very cool. That guy's on here now. Talk to him about it. I'll be back 1 minute. 1 minute.
Sure.
The only thing with that watch, man, if something leaks or something eventually.
Yeah, servicing it's gonna be tough. I think servicing. I don't think anyone here. I mean, if you don't have the experience, you have
Yeah, I
difficulty
mean it's
getting
not
this
difficult.
serviced.
It's not that complicated as from a design set. It's just hydraulic fluid inside of a reservoir, and then it goes through like a tube that
Yep.
pressure. Is it like it's only one liquid or two liquids?
I think there are two liquids, one
Two
clear,
liquids, and
one
or I
solid.
think it's there's no air in there, right? It's just
No
it's a
air.
loop. It's a closed loop, right?
Yeah, that's right.
With two different liquids, two different viscosities, and that's what separates them. And
Yeah,
then
that's why it
when
has that two hydraulic thing you see in the middle.
there's like two small pumps in there. There's this pump.
Yeah.
One
That's
is
true.
one is vacuum, one is pressure.
I've got to take a quick phone call.
That's complicated, man. That's a design. That's a very complex design. You know, it's not easy to make. If something breaks on that, you have to go back to the guys who made it.
Yeah.
That would be the experts on it. There would be like no normal watchmaker would be able to service that watch.
The funny thing is, this brand, they actually went into liquidation once upon a time.
Oh, really?
Then
I didn't
they
know
went into liquidation, and then in less than a year they came back. So now it's a whole new brand now. So the design has changed as well.
It's very interesting.
It's very cool, and it works on. That's that liquid there. That's pretty clever how it does it.
It's
A little bit
oil.
expensive, I must confess. It was about what was it, $2,500 US?
That's, if I recall correctly. Oh, where is it? 39,000 Swiss franc. Yeah, Swiss franc, I think.
What does that come out? That's expensive, man. That's an expensive watch. It's an interesting concept. It's one of these like artist watches that you can't replicate that kind of watch. Man. It's very you have to understand that technology. It's what do you call it? Hydraulic.
So 39 Swiss franc, that would be in the US. I reckon you're from the US, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, the 45,000 US.
Wow.
Sorry, how much? 4,500. You mean?
45,000
USD.
Sorry, how much was it?
45,000.
45,000. Sorry. Just back the truck up. $45,000.
Buy a fucking car with that motherfucker.
Retail. That's 45,000.
How much did you pay for it?
I got a big discount. Very, very huge discount.
What's it made out of? What's the metal? Is it steel and it's got a sapphire crystal, or what is?
So the majority of it is actually sapphire crystal, as you can see.
Yeah.
Sapphire crystal.
Well, how long is it supposed to last? Supposed to last 100 years, no warranty, like without any issue.
It has a 5 years warranty, and
That's
I don't know how long it lasts. Yeah, that's it.
I got another super chat. CB, $5. Pull up the dog trainer watch I sent you.
What's your name, buddy? What was your name again?
Erwin.
Erwin.
Erwin. Hey, Erwin, I was gonna ask you. Do you know anything about that watch, like how it works and everything? You studied it?
Yeah, it's got this bellow, this two thing, the bellow that actually pushes the pressure.
Yeah, those
up
little
and down.
bellows. What are they made from? Are they metallic or what are they made from? Are they rubber?
The majority of them are made out of titanium.
Oh, really?
This
What
is the
are
dog
they? How do
trainer
they
watch.
seal?
It's a Negroni.
How do they seal
Negroni
up?
color. Look at this. What do you think of that? A Negroni.
That's ugly, man.
I like it.
That's ugly as hell, man.
Negroni watch.
I like that watch that guy's got. That's the hydraulic watch. That's fucking cool, man.
Yeah, that watch is cool. But I like this watch here too.
I didn't realize that was 45,000. I thought you said 4,500.
Yeah, what did you think, man?
I got to be honest with you. I thought that was expensive at 4,500.
Shit, man.
Not
anybody. That's only that company can. It's HYT made that watch, right?
That's right. You got that right. Yeah.
Those bellows, I suspect may actually be titanium, as Eddie suggests, because titanium does not fatigue like steel or other metals. So it can be used like in
Let's have a look what they're going for on Chrono 24.
It can handle so many cycles; it'll never wear out. It'll never fatigue and crack.
Well, here we
No,
go.
but there's like seals in
22,000.
between. There's seals in between the bellows. The bellows can be, they could be made out of titanium, like little rings or whatever. But then the seals that seal that liquid inside, there's not that much pressure, so it shouldn't really, it's not caustic liquid. It's like an oil. It's supposed to be like stable.
Sure. Yeah.
So it's not corrosive. It's not under a lot of pressure. There's not that much pressure that's pushing on it. So it should be. It's not under that much stress. You know what I mean? So it probably will last for a long time.
Absolutely. Probably operates between no pressure and a little bit of pressure.
There's just all it needs is like hydrostatic. It's like maybe less than a pound of. You don't need that much. It's a full. I think it's air in there. There shouldn't be too liquid, because if it was too liquids, then you can't compress liquids.
Nope.
So it has to be air. So it just like it fills it pressurizes, and it pushes the liquid out into that circle, that tube. It's like a bent tube, and then once the tube is once it reaches 60 minutes, whatever, it evacuates it.
Is that the power supply for the watch?
There is if you look at it, it's on the right side.
So those bellows going back and forth is what winds the watch. Basically, the changes in atmosphere are what keep the watch running.
No, but there's pressure on the bellows. There's a mechanism there. There's like a geared box. There's a mainspring. You're charging a mainspring. Yeah, you're charging a mainspring. The mainspring is then released, and the pressure. There's probably like some kind of like a lever that pushes on the bellows to release the oil pressure, to increase the pressure, to push that shit through that tube.
Yeah.
And that's it. And then it goes into one reservoir, and then it goes into the other reservoir. It's from one reservoir to the other reservoir. It's pretty cool, man.
So
very interesting.
65 hours power reserve.
Wow. How many spring is one barrel spring or two?
I believe this has a two
spring barrels too. Hello?
Yeah, two, I think.
Yeah, 2 spring barrel. Is it a heavy watch? Is it real heavy?
Not really. I think it's not that heavy. Between this and a sea dweller, I think this is fine.
Is it like an exhibition case back? You could see inside and see everything and all the.
Yep. Let me show you.
That's pretty cool, man. I like that.
There you go.
Let's see. Wow, look at that, man.
Wow.
That's very nice. Yeah, HYT. Wow, look at the mechanism. That is pretty cool.
Very
man.
cool.
I tell you what, that's very courageous, buying something for that sort of money. That's incredible.
Oh, I got
That's a great watch, though, man. What do you do for a living? What do you make? How'd you make? You got a lot of money, man, to spend on that.
He's the lawyer.
Shit.
He's the lawyer.
Oh, for real?
No, I'm just.
Are you Hey, are you a criminal lawyer, man?
No, unfortunately, no, I'm not. I'm a civil lawyer. Yeah.
Oh, okay, man. I got in trouble with the law, man. I was a computer hacker, man. The feds came after me.
Oh, shit.
I got in big trouble, man. They still fucking with me. Man.
It's not good, Eddie. It wasn't good for.
No, it wasn't, man. It wasn't.
Oh, man.
I got to tell you, what made you? Can I ask you what made you buy the HYT? What made you do it? Like.
A friend of mine was actually selling it here in Malaysia. And,
well, how much did he pay for the thing?
No, it's brand new. This is brand new. But as I mentioned earlier, HYT was going through a period of liquidation. They went into liquidation. So, and these watches were actually going on for sale. They were going on sale. So I I decided to actually pull the trigger, get one of it before. I know it's very ballsy of me just to do it, and very foolish of me to do it as well. So I went and
How much discount? 50%, half price, more than half?
more than half actually,
Yeah.
more than that, yeah. But less than a year later, HYT bounced back from liquidation, so that now they are back with entirely new
Is
design.
it worth? Could you sell it and get your money back or make a profit?
Well, it's for sale if anyone's interested. Yeah. I'm waiting for takers, looking for takers.
How much did you list it at?
Okay, how much is it in, let me see. In USD, I think I've listed it at Malaysia ringgit in USD. Sorry. 20,000 USD.
Okay, fair point. Half is less than half.
Yeah.
I had no idea it was that expensive. What's the workmanship like on it?
Oh, it's very nice. It's very nice. It's a very nice piece. I think it's the workmanship, the polishing. It's quality.
Wow, that's Did you pay more for the Breguet or for the HYT?
More or less the same.
Okay.
More or less the same. Yeah.
Wow, two very different watches.
I know. I like to. I swing both ways.
Yes. No, very That's very interesting because at least you're not hype. At least you're not buying fucking the hype.
Watches, yeah.
I mean, I like some hype, but too much hype is a bit.
Yeah, this guy's.
We got CB, $5. Pull up the Midori watch I sent you. Yes, sir. I will pull that up. Oh my God, they do a Midori. This is the same company that did the Negroni. They've also got a Midori. That's green. Midori is that green drink. I quite like Midori. I must say that. I like Midori. Look at this. That's the Midori version. These are It's from Italy. Look at that. Very interesting type of piece.
Wow, very loud.
Very loud. So, with that HYT, how does it compare to say like an Erwick?
Oh, well, I guess they're two very different brands. Yeah, very different. But I prefer an HYT simply because most watch brands will try to get liquid out of the watch, but this has liquid inside, and you can't get anyone else. I mean, I can't think of any other brands that uses liquid in their watch.
What watch are you wearing there now? What's on your wrist?
This is the Wimbledon.
Wimbledon. I didn't know you had a Wimbledon.
Oh yeah, I did. I think that was the first watch I mentioned. The Rolex
Wimbledon. You got the Air King.
The Air King, the Yachtmaster.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a quite eclectic taste.
Yeah, it's a disease. So I'm trying to sell some of these pieces as well, like the HYT.
What do you sell them? What do you do? Put them on Chrono 24, or what do you sell them on?
Oh, I try not to. I'm selling them in Malaysia here, so I do have a platform in Malaysia which we sell to collectors here. Yeah, but
yeah. No, that's very fascinating stuff. That's incredibly fascinating.
Well,
I'm
glad I get to talk to you about it. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, just hang on one tick. I'm going to ask you a question, okay?
Sure.
I'm going to ask you because I want to ask you. These big fancy boxes here. I want you to tell me which one do you think presents the best. Okay, just hang on there. I'll just be 1 minute. Just give me 1 minute. I'm gonna set this up. 1 minute. 1 minute.
I'm just curious on your watch with the bellows. Is there a temperature that you like it stops functioning at? Like
No,
I wonder if it's mercury that's in the bellows. If
there's no
you,
temperature in it.
you
I don't
say
see.
if you say if it's got liquid, I'm just curious because liquid isn't compressible, but it can under different temperatures, turn to gas, right?
Hmm.
Um,
Right.
and
True.
so that's what I'm assuming is happening. If you say it actually does have liquid in the bellows. I could understand it if it just had a gas in the bellows. But you see thermostats work all the time with mercury. And
How would you service it if it broke down? That's what I'd want to know.
you have to send it in for probably a
Yeah, you got
pretty
to send it
penny.
back to HYT then. You
You
got to
know,
send it back.
MBNF and Airworks and this company, they're like total outside of the box thinkers.
Yeah. Yep.
They're just like, we're gonna make a Star Trek shaped, watch with dial, you know, uh, complications instead of round circles on the main dial. They're sideways. They're like
Yep.
scrolls.
Yep.
And they have chain drives and they do all kinds of weird stuff. And MBNF just throws like a really cool spin on the normal way of making a watch. They just do it really,
I just want to
really
ask you,
eloquently.
Mikey. I want to ask you and Erwin a question. Which box do you think which watch looks more prestigious? So this is Breguet. I'm going to show you this. Have a look at the Breguet.
Yeah.
That's how the Breguet presents.
Very nice.
And the amazing thing with the Breguet is it's all real wood. You know
Yep.
what I mean? Like it's fucking. That's the Breguet.
Okay.
And the second one is the JLC. The JLC. That's the box.
Well, I mean, hands
one do you
down,
think-
the wooden one. Of course, it's much more nice and it looks very well made. I'm an appreciator of fine workmanship, of any kind. And that wooden box is obviously an artisan made it, and it follows in tradition with the high end level of the watch. It's
I got to
beautiful.
tell you, Erwin, the thing that
Yeah.
disappoints me is the fact that Rolex, right? With Rolex, I'll get a Rolex box. Just hang on.
Yeah, they still give you that cheap ass green plastic fucking box.
Well, what is that? What is that cheap ass green?
I don't
plastic
know.
shit?
Maybe it's super expensive. I don't know.
It's like a Mercedes Benz. Oh Lord, won't you buy me a Mercedes Benz? Like this here is my box for a sub, and I got to be totally honest with you. What the fuck is it made of? Is it? It's not leather. It's fucking. It's got suede interior. It has a suede. I mean, it's.
Well, I think I prefer the
Does that look
the Breguet.
expensive like that? You get a bluesy. That's what a bluesy comes in.
I
Does
think the
that look
Breguet box
special?
looks more classy. The Breguet box looks more classy than any
Oh,
of this. But
yeah,
I must give it to Rolex. This box, even though it's kind of plasticky, but they will never go sticky.
It's
No,
iconic.
doesn't
It's
go sticky.
iconic. It's iconic. It's been the same box forever. It's what you get with Rolex.
It will never go sticky. It won't go brittle.
They are super quality for sure.
I think the Breguet box is because I actually pulled apart a Patek box, and as I said, it's MDF. It's not actually. I mean,
It's got a
I'm not
veneer
sure.
on it.
I'm not sure. The Breguet box, that looks like real wood. Have you your Breguet box?
Yeah.
Is that real wood or is it veneer or what do you think?
I think it's real wood. Yeah.
Sometimes it's hard. Sometimes it's hard to tell though. Sometimes they just veneer every surface, and you wouldn't know the difference unless you've peeled it up or drilled
That's true.
pulled some of the inner
On
material
the
away.
Breguet box, you can actually see the inlining, Mike.
Yeah, no, I'm
So
sure.
that's
I have
not
no
that's
doubt
not
that's
veneer.
probably solid
That
wood.
can't be veneer. Look, and it's got the corner bits there.
Oh yeah, no, that's gorgeous. That's real wood for sure. I'm just saying, they
Smells
can
like
do
real
some
wood too. You know.
they can do some amazing things with veneers these days.
That's true.
No, you're right. You're right. The I mean the Rolex box, as you said there, that Rolex box. What is it? It's not leather. Is that? That's kind of it's suede. That's a suede. That's leather. Suede is leather, isn't it?
Yes.
Kind of leather, yeah.
Yeah.
So that is leather.
Yeah.
The outside, what is it? Plastic or what?
I think it's plastic with
Feels like
some
it.
sort of reinforcement mixed in with it.
You know
I
how
mean, it
Rolex
does
likes
look.
to.
It looks expensive. That doesn't look cheap. You give someone a Rolex box like that. It is a beautiful.
Definitely a nice box.
Yeah.
Nice plastic box. Yes.
You know how Rolex like to mix around with their alloys. They'll probably do the same with this plastic, mixing here and there, creating some new species.
Yeah.
You know, the funny thing is that I pulled apart the Patek. It actually has made in Thailand. They're made in Thailand.
And that's probably what they start with,
Yeah.
They start with a little square box that's perfect size, and then they just work out from there.
Well, they sell 50,000 Pateks a year, over 50. It'd be all industrialized, wouldn't it? Don't you think?
That's not that big of an order for Taiwan. Honestly.
Thailand, not Taiwan.
Thailand, Taiwan, whatever, doesn't matter. 50,000 is not that great, huge of an order.
You reckon?
No, not in the scope of things. In today's world, I think that'd probably all fit in one 40-foot trailer. And just when they're done in a week or two.
Hey, Pavel, was you the guy who had the Mercedes problem, Pavel? Because I got an answer on how to fix it. Someone emailed me pages of shit on how to fix that key fob.
All right, guys, I've got to make a move. I've got to go to work. So,
hey, Erwin, thank you so much
Erwin.
for coming on, man. It's been an absolute pleasure and honor to have you on, man. I love chatting watchers. Please enjoy your Breguet. Please.
Thank you. See you, Mike. See you, Mikey.
See you. I enjoy learning from you, man.
Your Breguet. Breguet, brother.
Likewise.
You've got some great watches.
Right.
Yeah. Thank you so much. What a cool guy, don't you think?
Yes. Oh, 100%. And eclectic and proud to be so. He's got some weird watches that only very certain people would bother to spend big money on, and that one with the bellows is one. That one is just insane. And I think he's got a thing for steampunk because you know what steampunk is. It's kind of like a movement, and it has to do with those. Everybody wears goggles, and they're all dirty, and they use old materials, and it's just kind of it's kind of a way of life for some people. Steampunk, and so. The other day we were showing some watches that were totally steampunk. Remember the one that looked like a robot? It had the two eyes.
Oh, yeah.
That could be considered total steampunk. Okay, like things like that, things that look like that. That's steampunk, hardcore. So I suspect our friend is maybe a little bit into steampunk. I don't know. I don't know.
Would you ever put your 911 up for sale now? You've enjoyed it a bit. Is it time to get rid of it?
Yeah. I'm not driving. It's not. Of course, there's always surprises, right? So
you could sell that and get yourself a beautiful M2, a brand new M2.
Oh, I wouldn't go that way. I would go backwards. I would get an older vintage car, but no. I mean, I'm continually working on it, and it's It's drivable. It is 100%. I'll jump in it and go take you for a drive right now. It runs. It's great. But it's just everything Porsche is so fucking expensive, and I knew that going into it. I just thought it was a little more finished on the finer edges than it was, and so I'm finding myself having to kind of clean up little details. Um, but I mean, it is pretty good. It had a disassembly paint job, and it's got all new rubbers, around the windows and around the doors, the windows, and um, it's been basically kind of restored in a sense.
Have you done a lot of work to it?
Yeah, mainly just oil changes and fuel line. There was one.
What do you think if you were listing it now for sale? How much would you put up? What dollar value on it now?
I don't. The average price is like 130 to 150. Mine is modified, and so that's knocked its value down a lot. So a lot of people that have looked at it have said, "Wow, it's going to take me this much to put it back to brand new." And I said, "Well, that's just fine because this is my car, and it's just exactly what I wanted, which was a track car that is just barely legal for the street. Something that's so fucking crazy and so fast that you know it's up my alley. I'm very accustomed to having super high-powered cars that require respect. That cars that'll kill you. I love cars that'll kill you, and I've had them and raced them and tracked them, and I live very close to Sears Point, and so yeah. But it's going to be a while, quite a while, before my 930 is ready for the track. But for the street, it's just
So
fine.
how much would you sell it for? That's what I want to know. How much would you sell for? Is it worth 50,000, 70,000? What's it worth?
No, my guess its value is probably around 100.
Okay. Would you sell it?
If somebody had 100 in their hands, yeah.
And what would you buy with the 100?
I don't think anything at this point. You want to hear a funny fucked up story?
Yeah.
My Nissan Cube,
Yeah.
it has coil on plug, meaning instead of one coil with spark plug wires, each spark plug has its own little itty bitty coil, and then you've just got two little wires on a plug that go to each coil, and the computer brain just tells the coil to zap. Okay, it's called coil on plug. It's how all new cars are done. All new cars. The Nissan Cube engine design, you pop the hood, you think, all right, I'm gonna. My car dropped a coil, so it's running on 3. It dropped a hole, and so it's chugging around. And I'm thinking, fine, I'll just fucking replace either the plug or the coil. It's going to be one or the other. And
Sure.
the design of the engine has the plastic intake manifold going right over the top of the spark plugs. You can't see them, you can't get to them, you can't touch them, you can't do anything until you've removed the entire intake system of this car, which is, they give the mechanics like 4 hours to change a spark plug. It's fucking insane. Last time, my mom insists on the car being serviced at the dealership where she bought it from. She's always has. So we go to this dealership. It cost us $680 to repair the coil last time. And I asked the mechanic, I said, when I had coils go bad on my Beamers, and when they did, the mechanic always suggested I just replace all 6. Because if one's gone now, another one's soon to follow. And he says, these things are so dead reliable. It's so rare that we have a coil go bad. Just fix this one and you're good to go. And here we are 3 months later. We dropped another fucking coil. We're back in the dealership, spending another $700-800. And I'm going to talk to the guy because we had a discussion about it. And I asked him directly, like, why don't we just shotgun it and put all 4 in right now? You know, we can do it while it's apart. And he's like, no, not necessary. Don't do it. And fucking A, here we are now, another dead hole. I know exactly what it is, and I could probably have it done in
How much do they cost, but?
It's like I think $100 and something for the through them. I think I could probably find the coil on Amazon for $29. Okay, but through them it's like $149 for the coil, and then it's like
Your mum
$600.
doesn't want you working on her car?
No, she insists that it always gets serviced by the dealership that she bought it from. And I'd rather have a pro fucking with a guarantee on the work. Now, if let's say they sold me a dead coil and the new one went bad, they wouldn't own up to it. I mean, they wouldn't say, "Oh, the new one we put in went dead, no charge." They would just say, "Yep, you had another coil go bad," and they just would have, This time they're replacing all 4 of them, so it's going to be a real expensive little bill.
Fuck, is it worth putting that much money into that car?
You know what? It's a great little car. It's got 120,000 miles on it, and the front end's it's got some areas that along the front, the front air dam, where when you pull out of parking lots and you scrape, um,
Oh, I know what you mean.
the front
We
ends
got a super
tend to
chat from Pavel
break
here,
up.
$10. Would you take 40,000 like you did for the Pantera, Mike?
Fuck no. To answer that, thank you, Pavel.
No worries, that's a no.
So,
Okay,
yeah, we
thank you.
can move on about that car and financials.
Yeah, no, Mike. I got to tell you, that was an interesting show. We had some good vintage Rolex talk.
I caught the tail end of it. It was very cool.
Is that enough? Do you think that's enough? But what do you think?
To be a vintage guy?
Yeah, you just have one watch. Could you do that?
Oh, absolutely. If I just stuck with my sub and just worn it forever and never owned another watch, I yes, 100%.
You could do that?
Well, it just turns out I tend to like all things cool. And I happen to find mechanical, intricate, high end things really super cool. This is all with a champagne taste and a Budweiser beer budget. But yeah, I'm an appreciator of nice stuff for sure. 99% of which I can't afford, but yeah, I definitely like luxury, just like you, Archie.
I know exactly what you mean there. It's a tricky thing.
You know what though? I kind of set a level for myself because, I really lust after a lot of things. There's so many cool things in this world, right? That it's just like you could fall head and feet deep into anything, photography, whatever. But I actually limit myself, because you can get scattered and be into just too many things. And I find it better to like find one, stick with it, and master it. That's my thing. I love to master things.
Yeah. Tell me this: how does it feel just having the Speedmaster? You happy just to have the one watch? Like,
No.
because you had a whole stack of Rolex you got rid of.
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Yeah, absolutely. Because money is just a means to what I want. Okay. Whether I fucking made some or lost some on the way, I don't give a flying fuck. Okay. It was then I had the money. I wanted it. I bought it. I needed money later. I sold it. I took a bath. I fucking lost money. I own it. Okay, that's just what it is. I don't give a shit. I know what I want when I want it, and I want it now, and I do what it takes to get it.
Yeah, you do whatever it takes.
Simple as that. If I have to lose
Whatever
some
it-
money, if I have to lose some money to do it, fucking so be it. You know, and I'm happy I got the opportunity to own this Porsche because this Porsche is a very, very rare and very special car, even in its modified state, which I'd say more of them are than perfectly stock, but I'm not sure. I've seen some videos of car shows where more of them were hot rod builds, as you would say, like mine, all modified out with custom wheels and tires and body kits and things like that. Even though mine's the real deal, it has the huge flares. It does have an aftermarket rear wing that's way cooler looking and way better for racing, and it has the IROC front end underneath the bumper, so it's a little different than stock, but it's nothing you can't just put back. You know, you can find yourself an original wing, rear wing, and original front end, and you know, buy yourself a donor fucking car with a decent interior, you know, the wrecked, and just pull the interior out of it, and you know, you could have that car back to looking like the way it rolled off the showroom floor for a lot of money. I won't say for cheap because it doesn't matter what way you fucking go around it. Porsche's just insanely cheap. You got to think in cubic dollars when you think
Yes.
Porsche.
Guys, we've got a 3.5 hour show there. I'm going to wrap this baby up there. We had some fantastic talk. Mike, I got to tell you, my favorite box, the Breguet box. I think that just
it's got to be.
look superb.
It's gorgeous. I love I can see the finish on it, you know, the reflectiveness. And I can just tell it's a very highly finished, nice piece of woodwork for sure. 100%.
Exactly right. Amazing how they do that. Guys, I want to thank everybody. We got a super chat here. Pavel, member for 33 months. Have you ever sought that bent chassis issue that has your coilovers on opposite stops, Mikey?
Nope.
Okay, let's have a look and thank everybody who super chatted today. We had JD Montreal. We had Big Tony, Rich Mitch, Sam Davidson, Tap 1999, Rich Mitch, Thomas Burnett, Patel Philippe, Watch for it, Patel Philippe, Watch for it, Patel Philippe, William Gaudrian, Thomas Burnett, Patel Philippe, William Gaudrian, WC90, Watch for it, Patel Philippe, Herman Piano Dude, Patel Philippe, Yankee Doodle, CB, Yankee Doodle, CB, Pavel, and Pavel. Guys, it's been a pleasure having you here today on the show. I'll be back tomorrow. Mikey, I hope you join us tomorrow, man.
Archie, I'm here if I can. 100%.
I appreciate it, Mike. Mike,
it's always my honor to be on the show. You know
it's a pleasure having you here, man. And we really try to bring the best out for everyone. So I thank you guys for supporting us and being here. Guys, we'll see you tomorrow. We love you all. See you later, guys. I'll just run an outro. Here we go.